I mean, it's really bad. Somebody had kicked the air down.
It's amazing from one side of the studio to the other because I have the blower right over me and not over you. I freeze.
Yeah, I'm over here sweating, and you're over there with icicles coming, hanging off your ears.
So now you feel my pain.
I do. And you know what was funny?
Did you wear the Snuggie?
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was close. Jeff Allen was in here at that moment.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, she's telling the truth, and you need to do something about this.
Thank you.
He left the studio and tried to lock me in. So yeah, apparently he's tired of hearing about it. So
I know. I try not to complain about it too much, but Mark wins. You can win over there. When you're hot, I get it. I can throw the Snuggie on, so it's all good.
That's right. You have the Snuggie. Well, welcome to the Marc Cox Morning Show, and we do have a show today, actually, and we've got a lot of great guests. We're going to hear from. This was breaking news late last week. This whole deal with Kim Gardner and the city of St. Louis, and if you're a politician, I strongly advise against ever having an enemies list, no matter who it is, right? No matter what party you are, and no matter who the enemy might be, just don't make a list. Especially if you're a prosecuting attorney and you decide to put the police on your enemies list.
Yeah.
Now, there are bad apples and bad oranges in every bunch.
Everywhere.
And I'm sure there are some police officers that maybe are questionable in the city of St. Louis. I'm just saying that because I don't know. I'm totally speculating. But to have nearly 30 of them on some list that you do this ready, shoot, aim thing, and then I don't know if you saw this, Denise, because it happened late on Friday. I happened to be here that Friday afternoon with Annie. She then dropped a second press release where she sort of retracted a lot of what she originally said. And now the police department and prosecutor's office and the mayor's office are all pointing fingers at each other.
Right, because this morning I was reading that the police chief, John Hayden, is denying that he knew about the list, and Gardner was kind of calling him out, saying, well, everybody knew about this list, and Hayden's like, hold on a second here. Yeah,
what a conundrum and what a mess that she has created, I believe. And so we're going to hear from Chet Pleben at the bottom of the hour about that. Mark Lauder joins us in the 7 o'clock hour. I spoke with Mark Lauder when I was hosting the Annie Fry Show last Monday, and I was chatting with Tony, and I didn't give Mark very much time. So I feel bad. I'm going to make sure
Give him some time.
I'll go right to him this morning because Mark Lauder was on Fox News Sunday again, 2 weeks in a row. So we have an A-lister joining us here this morning on Labor Day. So we appreciate that very much. Mark's you've seen him on Fox News, and quite frequently a commentator, former special assistant to the president and the press secretary for the vice president. And he's in the private sector now and giving some great commentary. Mark Mix, we're going to celebrate Labor Day with Mark Mix, the president of the National Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation. Why? Because I don't know about the union bosses, but the union workers have had a great year for worker freedom all across the country. Had a little setback here in the state of Missouri, but on the public sector side, and I'll talk to Mark a little bit about this, not necessarily in his wheelhouse, but public sector union reform was something that was accomplished here in the state of Missouri. The unions filed a lawsuit against that last week. And so we're going to talk to Mark Mix about all things. And then we'll follow it up with Senator Bob Onder in the 8 o'clock hour. That was his bill that I was just describing. Lawsuit has been filed. And so I know it's confusing, but there's public sector labor unions and private sector labor unions and so on and so forth. On this Labor Day, I just want to say, that I heard maybe it was in Gordon Deal's wrap up there, or it might have been in the top of the show at the news. They pointed out that only 11% of the workforce are actually currently in labor unions. And that's great. And if that works for you, that's wonderful. And I salute you. But that means nearly 90% of American workers are working and laboring, and they're not in a labor union. So we definitely want to celebrate you as well, especially the 65 plus million Americans who work for small businesses, and there are 30 million small business owners who are also working just as much in those small businesses, making up over 90 million people in the small business world. And how do I know all these things? Because I'm doing a bus tour about it. So I'll tell you. Remember, I'm on that bus tour.
Bus tour.
That's bus tour. We're coming to Missouri, actually.
Awesome.
In September. So we've got lots to get to. And then Tom, Denise and Zach and I were at this get together last week so we could all figure out who's all in this company of Intercom St. Louis.
Yes.
And I didn't know we had so many people in this company. It was pretty fascinating. And I got a chance to talk to Tom Ackerman for quite a while, like for the first time off microphone. And what a good dude Tom Ackerman is.
Yeah.
And he had he had some great stories about the PGA Championship, which I'm still aglow about almost a month later.
Oh, me too. It was one of the best things I've ever been to. So much fun.
Are you a golfer at all, Zach, or an aspiring golfer, or do you hate golf? Or
no, I certainly don't hate golf.
Okay.
I watch it sometimes. So
yeah. I play golf a lot, and I hate golf, Zach. So I play it all the time, and I hate it. No.
I don't play, and I like it.
No, I'm joking. It's a game where you never win. You know, you only can try to get a little better. You know, so you like golf?
For the most part.
Yeah. So Tom Ackerman was. Did you all know this? He had special credentials.
Yes.
Because he worked the tournament. You know,
he got to interview a lot of them.
Right. So he was having a great time, and it probably didn't feel like work to him, but he was there the whole time to work. And so he had an inside the ropes pass. And I said, well, what'd you do? He goes, well, I followed Tiger, of course. And he said that was phenomenal. So,
so cool.
You all have probably talked about that with him, but I may talk with him about that a little bit this morning.
Sure.
And we'll also talk about the Cardinals, who are red hot. Although this weekend they faltered a little bit.
Yeah.
Can't win them
the
all.
Reds aren't great, so it would have been nice to get the 11th series win, but hopefully they can go win in D.C.
That's right. They're
in D.C. today.
Is Mark going to go see them?
I don't know. I wonder if he knew they were playing there. They're there the next 3 days, so they could go catch them.
They're fairly hot, aren't they, or not this year?
I think they're. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll ask Tom Ackerman.
I follow the Cardinals pretty much exclusively until it really matters.
That's right. So we'll talk to Tom about the PGA, a little wrap up there, because I want more golf in St. Louis, and I want to ask him about the prospects for that. We'll talk to him about the red hot Cardinals, the Blues season, preseason.
Preseason games
this month, and because you weren't watching, now it's September.
Yes,
it is. We wake up and it's September today.
Time
so yes, it does. So, we doing the anthem this morning?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll do one.
Well, without further ado, let's begin the Marc Cox Morning Show like we do every morning with our national anthem.
97.1 News Time, 6:23 at 72 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer, and here are a few of the local stories we're following this morning. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections because of a lawsuit. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting at the Club Onyx in Centerville early Sunday morning. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. They take on the Nationals in D.C. today at 12:05. 97.1 News Time, 6:24. It's 72 degrees.
With services from oil change to brake repair, the team at Meineke has you covered. And right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Meineke, on with life.
Hey, St. Louis, want a great deal on tires? Go to CarX Tire and Auto during their buy 3, get 1 free tire sale. If you need tires, you need CarX Tire and Auto.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Restrictions apply. See manager for details.
Shop and save thousands at your Gateway Area Acura dealer right now. Find aggressive lease and financing deals on all Acura models, like the 7-passenger MDX, ultra-responsive TLX, and the all-new reimagined 2019 RDX. GatewayAreaAcuraDealers.com.
Hi, Sean Long for STL FenceWorks. The secret formula to our success is the marriage of quality products and workmanship with next-level service unseen in our industry, all at a competitive price. These are characteristics that informed and diligent customers seek out, and our competitors cannot duplicate. When you think vinyl fence, think STL FenceWorks. We custom fabricate our own vinyl fence and gates to meet your needs. When you think aluminum and steel ornamental fence, think STL FenceWorks. We purchase truckload quantities, passing the savings on to you. Decks? STL FenceWorks is the largest wholesaler of Wolf cellular PVC decking products in the Midwest. Wolf has proven to exceed the quality and warranty of any other synthetic decking product, and our craftsmen will bring your vision to life. STL FenceWorks is the confluence of quality, service, and affordability. That's value. Give us the opportunity, and we will exceed your expectations. At STL FenceWorks, your satisfaction is our passion.
Nobody doubts the nefarious intentions of Vladimir and Russia.
Sean Hannity.
They're not our friends.
Weeknights 7 to 9.
But it's smart to talk to them.
Hannity on FM News Talk 97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Marc Cox. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
And you know it's time to go through the sleet and driving snow across the fields of morning light.
Yeah, welcome back. Happy Labor Day. It's Monday.
It is.
It's Monday Fun Day. That's what we tell ourselves here. It's 27 after the hour. Welcome to the big Marc Cox Morning Show. Mark will be back Wednesday live from Washington, D.C.
Yes.
for the FAIR conference.
Mm-hmm. Be a part of Radio Row, so lots of
cool.
good guests and things to do.
Do you have any idea where they have that? Do they have that at one of the big convention halls up there? Or I would imagine.
I know Trisha probably knows all the details, but I don't remember. I don't know where they'll be.
There's a huge convention center.
I was there before, but it was so long ago that I don't even remember where I was.
Okay. They've never let you out since, have
No.
they? Yeah. Yeah. So, that's great. We gotta get you to Jeff City this year for
I
session.
didn't even get to go to Jeff City.
Jeff City in January is a blast.
It's on my bucket list.
You know what?
Tim.
It might be warmer. It might be warmer there than that vent.
It could be.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'll have to take a vacation day so I can go to Jeff City.
So are you all McCained out from the weekend finally?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, let's.
It was so disheartening, the tweets. And hearing about the things that Meghan McCain said at the funeral.
Ken Williams said something great last night. He's my executive producer. He said, I kind of felt like an outsider looking into this whole thing, because it was a very establishment thing. Now, John McCain, as I said last night, awesome war hero. I respect him for that. I love him for his service to our country, just like I love all the military. But I should be allowed to criticize him for his political beliefs.
Sure.
And he made some big decisions. And I also love the whitewashing of history here, where they only focused on John McCain and Donald Trump. Everything had to be through the lens of Donald Trump. So I've got some sound. I'm not going to get to it right now because I don't want to rush it. But the Meghan McCain statements and all that. It's kind of like, and with her statement, which I'll play when we come. We're going to listen to Chet Pleban when we come back. But I've got some great stuff from the weekend, and it's just. It very much was like this big establishment fest, and they've all forgotten apparently how much they hated John McCain before they loved him. And I found this great article. I'll pull it up again this morning. All of these quotes from the Obamatons and even some in the Bush family attacking John McCain viciously in 2008. Personal attacks on his disabilities, his looks, how he could or could not do things. There was General Wesley Clark, who was a big Democrat surrogate for Obama, said something worse than what Trump did about McCain. And we've forgotten about all of that because we have to look at it under the lens of attacking Donald Trump, which I thought was a real disservice to honoring John McCain. So,
absolutely.
This week, we'll move on from that and go into the Justice Kavanaugh confirmation hearings as well. Chet Pleban up next to talk about what the heck is going on in the city of St. Louis with the civil war between the prosecutor, the mayor, and the police chief.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Just a slight chance of a pop afternoon thunderstorm after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 92 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 80s this evening, 75 for the low. Tuesday, again, partly to mostly sunny skies, 92 degrees for the high on Tuesday. Again, do it on Wednesday, but a pattern shift is coming Thursday and Friday of this week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Fox News Radio, I'm Joy Piazza. At least 10 people shot, 3 critically, at an apartment complex in San Bernardino in Southern California. Police say multiple shots were fired, and they're searching for those responsible. One man says his uncle was nearby, and his car was damaged by gunfire.
They started shooting again, and that's how his car got hit. And the front passenger windshield got hit, and then they're just fortunate that no one got injured.
The area where the shooting took place is reportedly prone to gang violence. 4 people are missing and feared dead after 2 boats collided on the Colorado River near the Arizona-California border.
The 2 boats carrying 16 passengers collided Saturday. The water ranges from very shallow to 30 feet deep. No one was wearing a life vest.
Fox's Ann Carrick. Investigators also say more than a dozen people were ejected after impact. Fox News. We report, you decide.
97.1 News Time, 6:31. It's 72 degrees. I'm Denise Shaper, and this report brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. Gardner compiled a list of 28 officers who will be excluded as witnesses in criminal cases. Hayden denounced the list as unnecessary overreach and said he never asked the Circuit Attorney's office to compile such a list, nor was there a need for one. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections. Cole County Circuit Judge John Beadham issued a temporary ban because of a lawsuit over which State Department has the authority to inspect captive deer. The Missouri Department of Conservation has been responsible, but part of the new law would shift that authority to the Department of Agriculture. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting at Club Onyx in Centerville. Police say a security guard saw a man waving a gun out of a car window in the parking lot around 4:30 Sunday morning. When officers arrived, they ordered the man to drop his gun, and as he tried to leave, an officer fired several shots. No other details have been released. 97.1 News Time, 6:32.
With services from Oil Change to Brake Repair, the team at Meineke has you covered. And right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Meineke, on with life.
Hi, I'm Steve All of the All Financial Group. We often talk about how to get you to the retirement finish line, but there's another finish line we're focusing on this fall. At the All Financial Group, we're a proud sponsor of the 2018 St. Jude Walk Run to End Childhood Cancer. The children of St. Jude were my inspiration as I completed my very first marathon. Their stories helped give me strength on even the toughest training days. St. Jude has helped push the overall survival rate for childhood cancer to 80% today. But they won't stop until no child dies from cancer. Let's help them get to the finish line. Join me at the starting line on Saturday, September the 22nd at the St. Louis Arch Grounds in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Or make a donation and find out more about joining the team at steveall.com. That's STEVEAUL.com.
Hey, let me tell you about my dentist, Dr. Michael White, DDS. I was just in to see him last week, and what a difference it makes having somebody who's laser focused on your overall health, and that's what Dr. White talks about. When his dental hygienist sets you down in the chair, They have a couple of goals. Number one is to obviously clean your teeth and to check your teeth before the dentist comes in. But they're doing other things that I've never had a dentist office do before. They're checking the pH balance and the acidity in your mouth and the bacteria in your mouth, because we're going to talk more about this coming up, but studies that show a direct link between gum disease and heart disease. Why would you want to take that risk? So you are getting a clean mouth and you're helping out your overall health when you are taking care of your teeth. Dr. White wants you to do that, whether it's with him or another dentist. Just get it done. And if you're in the transition, let's say between insurance plans, or you're looking for a new dentist, consider my dentist, Dr. Michael White. Call him at 314-270-8552 or go to sunsethills.dentist.
Honey, it's time. We can't put it off another year. If you've heard this from your spouse lately, then you've probably spent some time outside lamenting the condition of your home. Unattractive siding, old drafty windows. If you can't stand another season with these, call Banner Construction today. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor, which means we have the expertise to properly install top quality James Hardie fiber cement siding on any home. When you hire Banner, you're not just purchasing products. You're investing in 25 years of home improvement expertise with a company that cares about the final result. Banner also installs James Hardie's Beechworth windows. Beechworth windows are beautiful wood windows with maintenance-free exteriors. Compare to Marvin, Pella, or Renewal by Anderson, and you'll see that Beechworth has the best features from each brand, all in one incredible window. Don't put it off another day. Call Banner Construction at 314-569-1050. And have a banner day. Call 314-569-1050.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Your Money Matters, brought to you by Fisher Window and Door Store, your dealer for Marvin Windows and Doors in the St. Louis region. FisherWindow.com.
That it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
You're wearing a badge. You're the target of this prosecutor. If you were a murderous thug, you're not the target of this prosecutor, because she's done a deplorable job of putting the criminals who are terrorizing this city behind bars.
That's Jeff Rorta with the St. Louis Police Officers Association, referring to this announcement yesterday by St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner that she's no longer going to accept cases from a list she's put together of 28 city police officers. We've asked our friend Attorney Chet Pleben to join us this morning from Pleben and Peruska Law Firm. PlebenLaw.com is the website. Chet, good to hear you again. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for your time this morning.
Sure.
What was your initial reaction to this news when you heard it?
My initial reaction is, what is she doing now? I mean, seriously, let's put this into perspective. First of all, she is a state rep who runs for the office of circuit attorney. She's got little, if any, experience as a prosecutor. She goes into that office, and let's track her history since she's been there. She's had the Stockley decision. That was a fiasco. She had Greitens, which is even worse than Stockley. She brings in Tisby, this character, who now is being investigated because she claimed that the police department wouldn't do the Greitens investigation, which was incorrect. Apparently now there's a bar complaint filed against her because of the situation with Tisby and Greitens. And on top of that, she's had an extraordinary number of experienced prosecutors who have left that office. And so now, on top of that, she claims that 28 police officers shouldn't be testifying in criminal cases that they've made. what becomes of the defendants in those cases if she's not going to put those people on the witness stand to testify. The cases will be dismissed.
Well,
I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't either. I talked to Jeff Rorta earlier, heard a little bit of that. I think probably the thing that he said that surprised me the most, and I really hadn't thought about this, is that from this point forward, with any criminal defendant who's on trial, if a police officer is called up to testify, he says this is the first thing that the prosecutor is going to go after to question the credibility of that police officer.
Well, I don't put a lot of stock in what Reuters says, frankly, but independently of that, look, I have had cases where I have represented police officers, both internal disciplinary cases. Matter of fact, we just finished one not too long ago, as well as representing police officers in criminal cases. And I have challenged the credibility of other police officers who are testifying in those cases. And so it's not without some sort of precedent that prosecutors, Jennifer Joyce, for example, people on the prosecutors on the East Side have said that there are police officers who lack credibility. I get that, and that's fine. But you've got to have some basis in fact for doing that. You can't just say, hey, listen, I'm going to exclude 28 of these folks because I just don't think that I like them testifying. There is a process that you can go through. There is an internal affairs division of the St. Louis Police Department, a professional standards division with most police agencies. And so if Gardner thinks that there is a problem with a police officer, that there's credibility, that there's perjured testimony someplace along the way, she has the ability to file a complaint. That will then start a process whereby the police department will go ahead and investigate that complaint and make a determination. So there's some factual predicate to a statement that I'm not going to use this particular police officer ever again in the future. But just to say, I'm just not going to do it, take those cases and pitch those out into the street because I just really don't like these 28 officers.
Yeah,
That's crazy stuff.
And what we don't know, and I read her statement from yesterday, it doesn't seem to explain it, is how we arrived at this list. I mean, it's a list of 28 officers who she claims they're reviewing them and open cases for viability. My assumption is somebody must have either complained about or had reason to doubt in these. You have to wonder what cases are involved, and we may never know because technically she doesn't have to tell anybody, right?
Well, right. I mean, it lacks a little specificity, and and instead of, I would have thought that if she has a problem with a police officer, or in this case 28, that she would have picked up the telephone or walked across the street to John Hayden and said, "Here, we need to sit down. We need to address this issue." Hayden then gets internal affairs involved, and they sit down and they have a conversation. But it seems to me, Mark, that none of that happened. It seems to me that Hayden was as blindsided by this as he was by the hiring of Tisby, because she claimed there that the police department wouldn't investigate Crichton. And he said that's wrong.
Yeah.
Never said that. So, speaking of credibility, when you look at this, I don't know anything about these 28 police officers, but given her track record, she's the one, in my opinion, that doesn't have much credibility.
Well, I don't know what can be done about it. I'm concerned, and I won't ask you to necessarily speculate on it, but I've raised the same concerns about what's going to happen in St. Louis County, because I've only shaken hands with Wesley Bell once, but I know he also has never prosecuted a criminal case, I've been told, and is going into it with this, criminal justice reform approach, which is the same thing Kim Gardner campaigned on.
Yeah, there was a case, there was a prosecutor down in Orlando, in that jurisdiction down there, and it was a horrific case down there of this character that shot a police officer, shot his pregnant girlfriend, and another police officer was killed responding to the call of the first police officer who was shot. And so this character says, well, and it's a brand new prosecutor, similar to Kim Gardner, and she says, I'm not going to bring the death, I'm not going to file a death penalty charge, I'm not going to seek the death penalty. And then she goes on to say, and as a matter of fact, I'm not going to seek the death penalty in any other case. What?
Ever.
I mean, never. So whether you're pro-death penalty or anti-death penalty, I don't know, but you know, you've got to uphold the law, and these men and women that wear this uniform, you know, bring these cases. They are good people. They're, you know, obviously not everybody is. There are some bad apples, as with any profession, and that's fine. You weed those people out. But my heavens, the criminal justice system can't be shut down because a prosecutor unilaterally, without cause and without justification, simply says, I'm just not going to do this. I'm just not going to bring your cases, or I'm just not going to file death penalty cases because I just don't feel like it. You know, that's wrong. That's wrong on so many levels. Now, what can come of this? I don't know. But there is a process. It's called a quo warranto proceeding, whereby an elected official can be removed from public office. Now, whether that rises to that level here, you know, I don't know. I mean, stay tuned. That needs to be looked at as well.
And who would file that?
Attorney General can.
The Attorney General, okay, because he did ask for the list. I saw that. So
yeah. And I mean, I don't know why you would stir up this kind of a public controversy in a city where every day, Mark, you turn on the TV, radio programs. You know, how many shootings have we had? How many murders have we had in this community? And she does something silly like this. Doesn't make any sense to me, and certainly doesn't help with the issue of safety in the community.
Yeah, it's a great point. Chet Pleban, thank you so much for giving us some time this morning.
My pleasure, Mark. Good talking to you.
You bet. PlebanLaw.com is the website there, and boy, but lots of great points there to sort of soak in this morning. And so, what does Josh Hawley do? You know, he hasn't shied away from Kim Gardner. He turned over the Greitens case to her, and I was critical of that at the time. So nobody, if he did choose to look into this further, I mean, nobody can really claim that he's taken sides, so to speak, because he's worked with her in the past. But it'll be interesting to see what he chooses to do in the middle of a Senate campaign. 314-241-9797.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Try to set the night on fire.
97.1 News Time, 6:47. It's 72 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer, and here are a few of the local stories we're following this morning. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting at the Club Onyx in Centerville over the weekend. City officials in Clayton are planning to change a stretch of Maryland Avenue to include new parking-protected bike lanes. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections because of a lawsuit. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. They take on the Nationals in D.C. today at 12:05. 97.1 News Time, 6:47. It's 72 degrees.
After 15 seasons of The Voice, you've never seen anything like this. This fall, thousands will seek their moment of glory, but this time they won't sing. They'll scratch. Join Team Missouri Lottery and win the star treatment with The Voice Scratchers and VIP promotion. Scratch to win $100,000 instantly and enter at molottery.com for a chance to win a trip to Vegas and LA to see The Voice live. Play responsibly.
It's always a good day to go to Espino's Mexican restaurant, and Labor Day couldn't be any better. How about that? 636-519-0044, the phone number down there. Espino's Mexican Bargrill.com is the website. They're right on Chesterfield Airport Road, just across from the big theaters down in the valley. You can't miss it. Great creative Mexican food. You're going to love it. Great cantina with specials all the time on their great tequila drinks that they have in there, and they also cater. Go to Espino'sMexicanBarGrill.com.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Valley Park to Holly Hills, Oakville to Arnold, St. Peter's to Edwardsville, wherever you live. Benton to Florissant, the name you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you St. Louis, Missouri, 314-645-2000.
Frederick is the gold standard for roofing and perhaps priced a bit lower than other bonded and insured roofers. When you invest money into fixing a hole in your roof or putting on a whole new roof, you want the peace of mind that you'll get only with Frederick Roofing. Plus, you can always depend on an immaculate cleanup when the job has been completed by Frederick's own licensed and insured crews.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
This is the Long-Term Care Minute. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, of the 16 million veterans who served during World War II, less than 558,000 are still alive. To make things worse, many of them now need long-term care. With the average cost of nursing home care approaching $7,000 monthly, we wondered, what should veterans do? For some advice on this, we called on long-term care expert and best-selling author Don Quante. So Don, what should our veterans do?
Well, quite simply, we recommend our veterans get a free copy of my book, Tax-Free Money for Long-Term Care, where they will learn about a little-known veterans benefit that may allow them to receive up to $26,000 a year tax-free to pay for long-term care. Give me a call right now. The next 30 listeners will get a free copy of my book.
That sounds great, Don. Just call 800-256-1607. That's 800-256-1607. This has been the Long-Term Care Minute.
Your world.
I like to call this deal the United States-Mexico trade agreement.
Your news.
It's a big day for trade.
Keeping you informed.
Jacksonville this morning.
FM News Talk. It was John McCain.
I'm the most fortunate man on earth.
97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
This hour, Making America Great, brought to you by Proctor Drapery, Blinds, Shades, and Shutters. Making your home great again. ProctorDrapery.com. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
The America of John McCain is generous and welcoming and bold. She is resourceful and confident and secure. She meets her responsibilities. She speaks quietly because she is strong. America does not boast because she has no need to. The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
Yeah, well, maybe tell that to Andrew Cuomo.
Was that clapping at a funeral?
Yes. The whole thing was too much for me, Denise. I don't know.
I gotta agree with you.
There was a lot of clapping. We were pulling a lot of sound bites this morning. And
a lot of clapping. And, it's funny. It's funny where the liberal media goes because they don't really have a core belief system other than, more government is better and hate Donald Trump. So I asked the liberal media and those on the left, which one is it? You all sit there like a bunch of penguins, flapping your flappers. When Meghan McCain says America was always great. Okay, I understand what she's saying there, and she's grieving. I felt so bad for her and her mom. They honestly had real emotion.
Absolutely.
But the same people were clapping a couple weeks ago when Andrew Cuomo said America was never great. So which is it? Are we celebrating America's greatness, or are we celebrating that America's just like everybody else, like Barack Obama told us for 8 years, and we're not any more special than anybody else, So the left wants to have it both ways, and the revisionist history is really amazing. And one of my favorite new shows, I listen to it because I'm driving home on Sunday nights from the Tim Jones Show. And Bill Cunningham comes on here, and I usually catch a few minutes of him, but then I'll listen to Fox News, the simulcast, and the Levin Show, Life, Liberty, and Levin. Now, Levin's radio program, sometimes I love Levin, but he can wear you out sometimes because, man, he brings blowtorches to every campfire, and he goes from 0 to 1,000 really fast. The TV show is like the direct opposite. It's the old-fashioned, long-form interview, 1 hour show with one guest.
Okay.
And it's pretty fascinating. He's had some great people on there. And they haven't all just been insider political people. He had on, who's the guy from Pawn Stars?
Rick Harrison?
Rick Harrison.
Yeah.
He had Rick Harrison on a couple weeks ago. That was a cool interview. Rick Harrison's a big free market guy, very, very libertarian.
Okay.
You know? And they got into politics, but they also talked about his life. And I think he lost his dad. Didn't his father pass away recently?
That happened recently, yeah.
Yeah, the old man who was great. And the other, they had Gary Sinise on. Levin had Gary Sinise on recently, talking about all the stuff he does for veterans. He had a couple times he'll have two people on. He had on Candace Owens and I think it was Katie Pavlich on recently. Last night he had Shelby Steele on, who is a black conservative who was talking all about this issue of reparations and how silly he thinks that is as a black conservative, and how black people have largely been, honestly, in Shelby's mind, and I agree with this, enslaved by the Democratic Party over the last 50 years with this fake war on poverty, which has been nothing about getting people out of poverty and all about keeping a voting bloc. But my whole point in all this was the revisionist history regarding John McCain. Wesley Clark, I don't know if you all remember General Wesley Clark. He was an Obama surrogate back in 2008 when President Obama was running against Senator McCain for president. And here's what Wesley Clark said about John McCain, the war hero. Quote, "I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president." How is that any better than what Trump got maligned for to this day about? I mean, in a way, that's worse. And they went on. Obama advisor Rand Beers attacked McCain, saying his, quote, isolation, he was a POW, his isolation during much of the Vietnam War, where he was tortured and was a POW, meant that his national security experience was, quote, sadly limited. I mean, these people, they trashed John McCain. And now the left and the liberals and the Obamatons, they lifted him up over the last week and acted like they never said a bad word about him, all because John McCain in the last 18 months of his life decided to have a tete-a-tete with Donald Trump. That's what this is all about. Yeah. We had to re-experience John McCain's life through the lens of Donald Trump and the media attacking him through that lens. And that's what I think was a real shame. I wish we could have just honored John McCain for John McCain. And I understand the emotion from Megan, his daughter. I mean, she's in her early 30s. She's lost her father. But do you need to have an applause line attacking the president in this eulogy honoring your father? I think you could have left that out.
I wish that she would have.
So it was a week long. It was 3 different ceremonies. I thought parts of it were glorious. I thought parts of it were not. But he was a war hero. Let's let him rest in peace now. There's bigger news. There's new news. I don't know if it's bigger news. There's new news ahead this week, and that is the confirmation hearings of Judge Kavanaugh. We've got Marc Lotter on. We're going to speak with him about that next here on the Marc Cox Morning Show at FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey guys, Glover here for my very good friends at Window World. Man, these guys have been with me for a long time, and I am so proud and privileged to represent them. Every year we get together, usually once a year. A couple good North County boys own the Window World here in town, and I say, who's your big competition? And this latest time they looked at each other and smiled, and they said, Dave, we really don't have a lot of competition. The guys, the solo guys riding around in their truck, God love them, with a magnetic sign on the side of their pickup, but no big companies because we're just that good. Whatever rating agency you go to, they're just so highly rated. They are absolutely dedicated to customer service. They do these fantastic replacement windows. They're so durable, you can actually stand on them. That's one of the kind of little gimmicks that they have. So call them. Make sure you mention me to get the very best of everything. 314-993-1800 or windowworldstl.com. 314-993-1800.
The best jewelry buying opportunity ever is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any item, pay nothing down, and get 5-year zero-interest financing. Imagine that $4,000 eternity band for only $67 a month, or that $8,000 three-stone ring just $135 a month. You can finance 100% of the purchase, even the tax. Don't miss this limited-time opportunity for the lowest payments ever on fine jewelry. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Olive 270 at City Place.
At Diamonds Direct, we love September, and you will too. Join us for an exclusive event this Friday and Saturday as we celebrate falling in love with Michael M. and get 5 years zero-interest financing. From classic solitaires to stylish three-stone rings and hidden halos, there's something for everyone. Handcrafted for the modern woman, all Michael M. jewelry is custom-made just for you. With zero-interest financing for 5 years on any purchase and no money down, you'll fall in love all over again this Friday and Saturday with Diamonds Direct and Michael M. on approved credit.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Marc Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Marc Cox Show.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
A radio.com station.
It's a washout of a Labor Day in South Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A storm's whipping up just off the coast that could soon have a name. Fox's Evan Brown tracking the system live from Miami.
Yeah, Dave, the Gulf Coast from the Florida-Alabama line west to Morgan City, Louisiana is now under a tropical storm warning, and that's due to a disturbance that is due to grow into a tropical cyclone. That storm is now about 5 miles west of Key Largo, Florida, but it is headed towards the northwest, and some New Orleans suburbs are already distributing sandbags. As much as 6 inches of rain could fall in some areas along the coast, and storm surge on both sides of the mouth of the Mississippi could exceed 2 feet, Dave.
At least 10 people got shot late last night at an apartment complex in San Bernardino, California. Some of them kids. 3 of the victims in extremely critical condition. The suspect said to still be on the loose. 4 people still missing in the Colorado River after 2 boats carrying 16 people crashed head-on, and none of them were wearing life vests.
Of the 16, 9 were injured. 2 of those were in critical condition.
Mojave County Sheriff Doug Schuster says the search for the 4 is ongoing. A disaster in Brazil.
Firefighters and museum workers attempting to salvage items as flames tear through Brazil's National Museum in Rio de Janeiro. The Brazilian president speaking of an incalculable loss, saying 200 years of work is gone, although there are no reports of injuries.
Fox's Simon Owen. The confirmation hearing starts tomorrow for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
The Democrats have more than enough information to understand that this is a highly qualified jurist.
Senator Ron Johnson on ABC, but Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar tells NBC.
We are not able to see 100,000 documents that the archivist has just, because the administration has said we can't see them.
Those are from Kavanaugh's time as staff secretary under President Bush. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is gonna help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time, 7:03. I'm Denise Schaefer. Here's the official forecast from Fox 2's Dave Murray. Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Maybe a spot afternoon storm with a high of 92. Clear tonight, low of 75. Partly sunny, hot, humid again tomorrow, high of 92. It's 73 degrees right now. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. Gardner compiled a list of 28 officers who will be excluded as witnesses in criminal cases. Hayden denounced the list as unnecessary overreach and said he never asked the Circuit Attorney's office to compile such a list, nor was there a need for one. Gardner said Hayden's command staff was aware of her concerns about the credibility of some members of the city's police force. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections. Cole County Circuit Judge John Beadham issued a temporary ban because of a lawsuit over which state department has the authority to inspect captive deer. The Missouri Department of Conservation has been responsible, but part of the new law would shift that authority to the Department of Agriculture. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting at the Club Onyx in Centerville. Police say a security guard saw a man waving a gun out of a car window in the parking lot around 4:30 Sunday morning. When officers arrived, they ordered the man to drop his gun, and as he tried to leave, the officer fired several shots. No other details have been released. City officials in Clayton are planning to change a stretch of Maryland Avenue to include new parking-protected bike lanes. Under a plan approved by aldermen, parallel parked cars and curbs will separate new curbside bike lanes from vehicle traffic. It's part of a $1.5 million street resurfacing project, and Maryland between Hanley and Forsyth will get the new bike lanes. This report brought to you by RP Lumber, best service, best value. 97.1 News Time, 7:04. It's 73 degrees. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 in 10 innings at Busch Stadium yesterday. Starter Luke Weaver allowed 3 hits and 2 runs in 4 innings. The Cardinals are now a half game behind the Brewers and sit in the second wildcard spot in the National League. They start a 3-game series against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. today. Jack Flaherty gets the start. Game time is 12:05. And Missouri started the season with a 51-14 win over the University of Tennessee Martin on Saturday. They host Wyoming this Saturday night at 6. This report brought to you by Brenton Vision, Marc Cox's choice for vision correction, 314-375-2020, BrentonVision.com. 97.1 News Time, 7:05. It's 73 degrees.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Just a slight chance of a pop afternoon thunderstorm after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 92 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 80s this evening, 75 for the low. Tuesday, again, partly to mostly sunny skies, 92 degrees for the high on Tuesday. Again, do it on Wednesday, but a pattern shift is coming Thursday and Friday of this week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
It's 7:05 and 73 degrees, and FM News Talk 97.1 is now available on radio.com. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
You know, it's great when you have somebody who supports free conservative talk radio in St. Louis, and it's also someone that I've known for 20 years. The folks that own Granite Transformations, Chuck and Susan, are great people. And that's a good thing to know when you're going to do business with someone on a project the size of your kitchen or your master bathroom, if you're redoing that. They specialize in redoing full bath remodels. They'll go in with their beautiful white marble, the engineered granite, whatever the product is you choose, they can make your bathroom look brand new again. Plus, if you're having mobility issues, you want to age in place, they can help you do that too. You end up with a gorgeous bathroom that accommodates you as you age in place. Fantastic. They will take care of you. They're going to come to your house. They'll give you a free consultation. They'll show you the price. You're going to love it. They get the job done at Granite Transformations. Go visit them at 1750 Fenn Park Drive in Fenton or call them at 636-728-1100. It's granitetransformations.com.
Liberal sanctuary cities like San Francisco defy federal law, giving safe harbor to illegal immigrant criminals who should be deported. San Francisco's liberal Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi defends sanctuary cities, and so has Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill. Senator McCaskill voted repeatedly in support of sanctuary cities, voting to keep sending them our tax dollars, multiple votes to allow these liberal cities to shield illegal immigrant criminals from federal immigration enforcement. And McCaskill voted to grant amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants before ensuring that our borders are secure. Call Senator Claire McCaskill at 202-224-6154 and urge her to support S1126 the Securing the Border and Protecting Our Communities Act. Vote to defund sanctuary cities that harbor criminals and secure America's borders. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Are you paying too much for auto insurance? Visit AAA.com/insurance for a free quote and find out how much you could save. Find competitive rates on auto insurance through AAA. Visit AAA.com/insurance today. That's AAA.com/insurance.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
This hour, Making America Great, brought to you by Proctor Drapery, Blinds, Shades, and Shutters. Making your home great again. ProctorDrapery.com. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Digging for gold in my neighborhood, where all the old buildings stood.
Well, good morning and happy Labor Day. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning. Good to see you, Tim.
Zach in the studio as well.
Yep, doing good.
If they looks like Trish took your training wheels off.
Yes, definitely.
There's no. Trish is not standing next to you right now this morning. You're just rocking and rolling over there.
Well, what was it? Last week? Was it last week when she was gone, or the week before? Time's flying too fast.
It's going too fast.
There you go.
It was mostly she was off one day last week, so it was the week before.
Okay, grizzled veteran.
And he did
Zach.
the whole week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did the whole week.
Hey, have you heard that new Death Cab for Cutie song I just played?
No.
You still got that?
Like
you still got that available?
You
can pot that back up. There you go.
I like them.
It's called Gold Rush.
So you know that Mark's not here.
Yes.
Because the music is now
I did play some Marc Cox
different.
music last hour. I played a little Van Halen, channeling my inner Marc Cox. Speaking of another great Mark, he spells his name the same way. Marc Lauder was on Fox News Sunday again yesterday, and we're going to speak to him. He's standing by here. I'm going to bring him up in just a second. But he, of course, was asked on the roundtable about the whole one of the biggest debates last week. You know, we couldn't just honor John McCain for being John McCain. We had to talk about President Donald Trump almost in every sentence because that's what the media, mainly the liberal media, does these days. But Marc Lauder was asked about this. Thought he gave a great answer.
Well, I think it takes two to tango, and I think John McCain, Senator McCain, has made a very good career out of attacking presidents when he disagreed on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, joining us now is the aforementioned Marc Lauder. He's at Marc_Lauder on Twitter. He is I've got it right in front of me here, former special assistant to the president, press secretary to the vice president. Mark, great to speak with you again this morning. Thanks for joining us on Labor Day.
Oh, not a problem. Happy holidays to everyone on Happy Labor Day, and it's great to be with you.
So, Mark, you know, I noticed you definitely picked up on this theme as well. And I thought you made a great point there. The media over the last week in honoring John McCain only wanted to talk about his contentious relationship with one president, and they conveniently forgot about John McCain, the critic, when it came to George W. Bush, Barack Obama, who I heard an old Kilmeade interview. I think it was his first interview that Brian Kilmeade did on radio. It was with John McCain, and John McCain was a ferocious critic of whoever was in the White House, wasn't he?
Absolutely, going all the way back to the days of Ronald Reagan, and especially when it came to military. And you know, the vice president said it at the memorial service at the Capitol, I believe, on Friday, was that there was nobody who supported our enlisted men and women more and was harder on our generals than John McCain. And I would add that he was also harder on the commander-in-chief, regardless of party. He had very strong opinions. He voiced those, became known as a maverick for it. And so the fact that he is continuing this, even in upon his passing, is not out of character for him. And but we honored him last week in the services, and the president is now going to continue doing many of those things that John McCain wanted, which is supporting our troops, investing our military, and giving our men and women in uniform the tools and the strategy to win whatever fight they're going to go against.
Yeah, Mark, that's a great point, because that's the other thing the media conveniently sidestepped was all the agreements that John McCain had with President Trump. In that interview where he was critical of Barack Obama, John McCain was very staunch on the fact that, yeah, we needed to reform our illegal immigration system, but he was very much in favor of building the wall. He was very much in favor of a lot of the things that the president was doing around the world with standing up against the North Koreans and trying to denuclearize the peninsula and all of those things. So I also think, and I'll transition to a new topic here, I think John McCain would have voted to support Judge Kavanaugh, whose hearings are going to be beginning this week on Capitol Hill. And that's something the media would not have praised him for, because the media has decided Judge Kavanaugh is the worst nominee ever for the Supreme Court of the United States, haven't they?
Yeah, they're trying everything they can with the Democrats and their allies in the mainstream media to throw anything at the wall to see if it'll stick on Judge Kavanaugh. And the fact of the matter is that there is nothing that is sticking, because this is a man who is immensely qualified. And you even had letters of support for Judge Kavanaugh from Bob Bennett, who was President Clinton's attorney. You had Yale law students, the Harvard Black Student Lawyers Association, all came out strongly in favor of Judge Kavanaugh because he is immensely qualified. And we need to really remember that the reason why the Democrats are so opposed to this right now is not about beyond philosophy. It's about politics. They don't want their Democratic senators like Claire McCaskill to have to vote yes or no before the midterm elections.
Yeah, Mark, we're right here in the middle of what is going to be one of the most contentious, expensive, hard-fought U.S. Senate races in the country, and that is the race you mentioned of Claire McCaskill versus Missouri's Attorney General Josh Hawley on the Republican side. Mark, I know you've got your ear to the ground up there in D.C. Lindsey Graham yesterday on Fox News Sunday predicted 55 votes in favor of Judge Kavanaugh. Chris Wallace said, well, that's 51 Republicans plus 4 Democrats, right? And Lindsey said, well, I'm not good at math, but I think that's right. So that means there could be, in Senator Graham's opinion, up to 4 Democrats. Where do you think Claire McCaskill is these days, Mark? We're having trouble figuring out where she is on that in Missouri. Well, she's never here, first of all. She's doing a lot of fundraisers out in Hollywood. But any sense of where Claire McCaskill might come down on this critical issue?
Well, so far she has not committed to anything. She had a meeting with Judge Kavanaugh and came out non-committal. Let's remember that on the confirmation vote of now Justice Gorsuch, 3 Democrats did come over and support that nomination along with all of the Republicans. Claire McCaskill wasn't one of them. And so she voted no. The only 3 were Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Joe Donnelly in Indiana, and I believe Heidi Heitkamp were the 3 that crossed over. So I would have no expectation that she would. But the voters of Missouri are going to have to remember that, because she's going to try to claim that she supports the president when he's right, but she doesn't. She says one thing in Missouri, votes the other way in Washington, D.C., against the tax cuts, against confirmation of Justice Gorsuch, and so many things down the line. And it just doesn't represent what the voters of Missouri want.
Speaking to Mark Lauder, the former special assistant to the president, press secretary, and the former press secretary of the vice president, currently a surrogate for the administration. He's a policy guy at heart. Mark, I want to dig a little deeper into the policy, the philosophy of Judge Kavanaugh. I haven't seen a Supreme Court nominee who is this much of a, dare I say, a normal guy with an incredibly deep resume, more qualified than Judge Kavanaugh, but yet be more maligned in the media. Not since probably the nomination of Judge Bork, who did not become a Supreme Court justice, or perhaps maybe Clarence Thomas, who did become a Supreme Court justice. Have I seen such vitriol by the media and the left? Mark, what is so scary to them about Judge Kavanaugh?
Well, the basic argument is that he is exactly what the president promised the American people he would appoint, which is a jurist who believes in the Constitution and the rule of law as it's written, not how liberals hope it to be. And so he's not going to legislate from the bench. He has been a strong supporter of interpreting the law the way it was written and applying it that way. And that's just really fundamentally runs against so many of what the liberals and their friends in the mainstream media want. I mean, let's remember, Cory Booker said anyone who supports Kavanaugh is complicit in evil. That tells you the level of vitriol. It tells you how far to the radical left the Democrats have gone. And I'll tell you, I had the opportunity to travel with the president last week to Indiana when he did that rally on Thursday night. And he is in such a great mood. He knows that this confirmation is going to go through. And he's also very excited about being on the campaign trail and supporting our nominees and our candidates who believe in that basic principle of the rule of law. And I can tell you, I venture to say he's going to be in Missouri later this year, making sure that the voters there know that Josh Hawley is the one that needs to represent them in Washington, D.C. He'll vote the way they think and not like Claire McCaskill, who's more aligned with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters than she is with the people back home.
Boy, you're right, Mark, about the media getting upset about the president doing what he promised. That seems to be when they light their hair on fire the most, when he can say promises made, promises kept. And it's been on so many issues, to the point, Mark, where the malpractice being committed by the liberal media these days is really astounding. It's like we live in two different alternate universes right now. And talk about a little bit about all of these economic factors, milestones, incredible marks that we're hitting, and the media is not covering any of them.
It's really remarkable, too, because let's remember, shortly after the election, you had the liberal media elites and the economists all predicting an economic collapse and that the stock market was going to implode and all of these things because of a Donald Trump presidency. And the exact opposite has happened. We have one of the strongest economies, if not the strongest economy in our history. Unemployment is at a record low. Unemployment for African Americans and Hispanic Americans is at a record low. And while the president, as he said on Thursday night, he apologized to women in America, we've only been able to get the lowest unemployment rate for women in 65 years. So not a historical low, but we're working on it. And hopefully within a few months or so, it'll get to a historic level as well. But the one thing we can't forget is that while we are at these historic lows, every day you're opening up your newspaper or you're turning on news and seeing that another company is expanding, another company is growing. It's going to move a plant or a factory or an office into a new area in our country. So we're still adding jobs. And when you add jobs at the same time you have record low unemployment, that means one thing, higher wages. Because companies are going to have to pay you more to either come join them or the company you're at is going to have to pay you more to stay put. And that's a good thing for American workers. It means higher paychecks, better benefits, whether that's lower costs on health care, all these things that these companies are going to have to do to attract and retain employees. That's good for the American worker.
Yeah, Mark, at some point the media is going to have to admit that things are better for the American worker than they have been in about 10 years. And I heard a story this morning where certain urban areas are literally offering subsidies and packages and literally offering cash to people to move back into the urban areas because they're starving for workers in some of our urban cores where people have been driven out of because of bad policies by Democrats who run those cities. Switching to another gear, an issue where again, the media attacked the president because he dared to talk about the trade imbalance and how we needed to address that issue. And, there's going to be a trade war. And, all the farmers are going to lose. And, the American workers are going to lose. And here President Trump pulls yet another rabbit out of his bottomless hat and strikes a deal with Mexico, does it in Trumpian fashion with a conference call on live TV. The Mexican government, the Mexican president is talking about literally giving Donald Trump a hug on that conference call. And the Canadians seem to be dragging their feet a little bit. So, Mark, we've got one big piece of the puzzle solved. Where do you see the negotiations going with Canada over the next few weeks as we try to wrap up the new NAFTA, as I guess we could call it?
Well, and I think those are going to be difficult conversations. And a lot of times, just even think about your own life. It's oftentimes more difficult to have tough conversations with our friends and family than it is with people who we are not nearly as close to. And so that's where this tough negotiations going to happen because, as the president has said, and we know this to be true, is that Canada has been taking advantage of the U.S. for many, many decades as it comes to trade, especially things such as their dairy tariffs. I mean, they charge 300% tariff on U.S. dairy products going into Canada. I know for a fact that there are many people who live along the borders that they will come into the United States to buy dairy products and other things, stay the required 24 hours or whatever, get a hotel for the night, and then drive back across the border because that's the best way they can get cheap and high-quality products. And so we needed to address these issues. And the other thing, one of the reasons why I think the American people love Donald Trump so much is because he's the only president who's actually backed up the fact that he said he was going to do it with NAFTA and then did it. Barack Obama in 2008 called NAFTA devastating and a big mistake. But he didn't have the strength to go and do anything about it. And here's a president who is going to do something about it. And I understand, and I'm from Indiana originally. I come from a farm state, so I know how important agriculture is. And there might be a few bumps in the road while we get there. But I think by and large, most farmers, most Americans realize that while there could be some bumps in the beginning, when we get to the other side, we get these new trade deals, it's going to be long-term good for our country, our farmers, and our workers. And so that's why I think that they're giving the president a certain amount of leeway to get these bad trade deals done.
Speaking to former special assistant to the president, press secretary to the vice president, current surrogate for the administration, Marc Lauder. He's at Marc_Lauder on Twitter. Marc, I wanted to wrap up our conversation by talking about, of course, what is just around the bend. We've talked about it a bit with the epic Hawley McCaskill matchup here in Missouri, but there's a lot of epic battles around the country. And if the president wants to continue with these policy agenda items, these policy missions of his, which he's having so much success on, he's got to have good political wins this year as well, doesn't he, Mark? He has to literally defy history. I think this president can do it. The blue wave seems to be diminishing to some extent, but I know that the headwinds are historically are against Republicans just because they're always against the party in power. So, how do you think where do you see where we are as a nation right now with these midterms?
Well, I'll say I'm really encouraged, even by the results we saw just last week in Florida, where they had a Republican primary for both governor and United States Senate. We had a record number of Republican voters show up in Florida to the polls in a primary. So did the Democrats, but we actually had more voters show up than the Democrats did. And so there is that energy there. There is that drive to do more. And so I believe we've got the energy. We're going to have to make sure we get out and vote. And when we count the ballots on election night and the days that are following, I think we're going to expand our majority in the United States Senate. I think we'll pick up anywhere between 3 and 5 seats, depending on how things break. And we do face headwinds in the House, but I think if Republicans make sure they get out and vote and they tell their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers, and people at church how important it is to get out and vote, while we are likely to probably lose some seats due to the cycle and the way it is, I don't think it'll be enough to lose the majority. I think we'll continue that to have the majority, and then we'll have that momentum to move forward in the second half of the president's first term with even bigger items like getting the funding for the wall, finally dealing with Obamacare, where we came up one vote short in the United States Senate last year. That's how important this election is, and I don't think people can take it for granted. We need every single vote. We saw that in that special election in Ohio a few weeks ago, where maybe a couple, 1,200 votes decided the winner and the loser. Every vote counts, and we need to make sure that everyone in Missouri gets out, make sure they vote, and don't vote alone. Bring someone with you. Make sure that they're voting as well.
Exactly. But Rick Scott's doing a great job running for U.S. Senate down there in Florida, isn't he? He's been he could really have some good coattails, I think, in the Sunshine State.
Absolutely, and Ron DeSantis is an outstanding candidate for governor down there. And one of the big important takeaways is, while I know the media is falling in love with the latest liberal socialist who's been nominated by the Democratic Party, he only got 1/3 of the votes.
Yes.
2/3 of Democrats voted against him in that primary, and I find it's going to be really hard to convince people in moderate, even centrist Democrats in that I-4 corridor that are always so important, and also in other states like Missouri and others. It's hard to sell that liberal socialist message.
It really is.
And convince voters. I think they're going to turn away from Democrats in droves because they just don't believe in socialism. They believe in that American dream, capitalism, low taxes, low regulation, the things that are really creating this strong economy and all these jobs.
Yeah, the biggest civil war the media is not talking about, and that's in the Democratic Party. Marc Lauder, thanks so much for the extended conversation here on Labor Day. Hope you have a good, restful, enjoyable remainder to your holiday. And Marc Cox will be back next week. I'm sure we'll talk to you again very soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you, Marc. It's Marc Lauder. Tim Jones in the big chair for the Marc Cox Morning Show. We'll have Mark Mix, president of the National Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation and the National Right to Work Committee, talking about what's next for Right to Work in Missouri and what a great year it's been for worker freedom around the nation. Mark Mix discusses that, breaks it all down. Tim Jones here for Marc Cox on FM News Talk 97.1.
Missouri Healthcare Hotline, can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling about my health insurance.
Well, that's what we're here for, ma'am.
Well, I've got type 1 diabetes. If I had to change insurance policies, I'd be really worried.
Yes, that's true of you and 2.5 million other Missourians with pre-existing conditions.
Then what's this I've heard about Missouri's Attorney General, Josh Hawley?
Well, Josh Hawley just filed a lawsuit to allow insurance companies to deny coverage to those with pre-existing conditions.
Why would he do that?
Well, I'm not a mind reader, but it's a fact that the insurance industry could benefit by Hawley's action.
Sounds like if Josh Hawley wins his lawsuit, people like me will lose. Is there anything we can do?
Well, yes, you can call Josh Hawley's office at 573-751-3321 and tell him to drop his lawsuit right now.
Well, thank you.
Have a nice day. Paid for by Majority Forward.
Honey, it's time. We can't put it off another year. If you've heard this from your spouse lately, then you've probably spent some time outside lamenting the condition of your home. Unattractive siding, old drafty windows. If you can't stand another season with these, call Banner Construction today. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor, which means we have the expertise to properly install top quality James Hardie fiber cement siding on any home. When you hire Banner, you're not just purchasing products. You're investing in 25 years of home improvement expertise with a company that cares about the final result. Banner also installs James Hardie's Beechworth windows. Beechworth windows are beautiful wood windows with maintenance-free exteriors. Compare to Marvin, Pella, or Renewal by Anderson, and you'll see that Beechworth has the best features from each brand, all in one incredible window. Don't put it off another day. Call Banner Construction at 314-569-1050. And have a banner day. Call 314-569-1050.
Fox News Radio, I'm Joy Piazza. It's a hot and humid day for many folks in the U.S. this Labor Day, and forecasters are also keeping an eye on a new storm system, Tropical Storm Gordon.
Heavy rain now falling in Miami, stretching across South Florida, so we have some flash flood warnings there across portions of South Florida. This is going to strengthen when it runs out into the Gulf of Mexico.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz. Protesters in Chicago are planning to take to the streets today after another weekend of gun violence. Demonstrators planning to block a major highway in and out of O'Hare International Airport. Fox Chicago reporter Dakari Turner says it's the third such protest this summer.
Father Michael Flager starting in July, leading thousands onto the Dan riot.
16 shots in the cover-up!
Weeks later, Reverend Gregory Livingston leading a separate group onto Lakeshore Drive before walking to Wrigley Field.
At least 3 people were shot and killed this weekend. Fox News, we report, you decide.
.97.1 News Time, 7:31. It's 74 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer. Thousands of local union members will march through downtown St. Louis this morning for the annual Labor Day Parade. The parade begins at 13th and Olive at 9 this morning, then makes its way down Tucker past St. Louis City Hall and west on Market to 15th Street. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. Gardner compiled a list of 28 police officers who will be excluded as witnesses in criminal cases. Hayden denounced the list as unnecessary overreach and said he never asked the Circuit Attorney's office to compile such a list, nor was there a need for one. Gardner said Hayden's command staff was aware of her concerns about the credibility of some members of the city's police force. The future of curbside recycling pickup around the St. Louis area is in question after a major processing center decided to stop accepting residential recycling. Resource Management recently told customers it will stop accepting single-stream recyclables as of October 31st. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. 97.1 News Time, 7:32. At the Garden View Care Centers, they offer what's not just assisted living. They offer Assisted Living Plus. And what that is you're not faced with having to make a decision again. If you have a loved one that's dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's and you need them to go somewhere, you need to put them in a place where they are going to be taken care of, and they can be taken care of from the early stages to the late stages, whether they need long-term care, if they need short-term care, even a vacation stay. The Garden View Care Centers can take care of your loved one through all of it.
Well, it puts them at ease, and it puts you at ease. And I think that's kind of what Richard Winter had in mind when he designed Garden View 30 years ago. He's maintained those standards. First of all, the place is beautiful. Denise and I have been through all three of their locations, Chesterfield, Doherty Ferry, and, of course, out in O'Fallon, Missouri. You walk through, the administrators know people as they walk down the hall. They know their life stories, and a lot of these people have been there for 6, 7, 8 years, and they've had to move through different levels of care. And it just makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. We encourage you to go visit one of the locations. Again, like Mark said, Doherty Ferry, Chesterfield, or O'Fallon. And for more information, go to gvcc.com.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire? Are you worried that you won't have enough income in retirement to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you also wondering how the stock market will affect your current retirement plans? This is Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'd like to show you the kind of income your retirement accounts can provide, whether you're retiring now or even in the next 5 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation financial review. We'll build your own personalized, structured income plan that will show you exactly the type of retirement you can count on. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees achieve a worry-free retirement for 31 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or visit us online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Marc Cox. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Already we've created, since election, more than 4 million jobs, including 156,000 jobs right here in North Carolina.
It's been a great year for the American worker, for American small business owners, for Americans. Not if you listen to things other than this station or Fox News. If you listen to the liberal media, you would think that the sky was falling every single day. But the president right there was in, I think he was in North Carolina. He's been everywhere these last few weeks.
Yeah.
He's been
like every other day there's a rally.
Yeah. And, Obama did get out on the trail, but not nearly as much as what President Trump is doing. And you know what? Obama saw the consequences for that. He got reelected, but over Obama's 8 years, he lost, I don't know, under his reign, 1,000 Democratic legislative seats flipped to Republican, like a dozen governorships flipped to Republican, many attorney generals flipped to Republican, to the point where by the time Trump took office, Republicans had the clear majority in everything across the nation. They held the most state legislatures. They held the most governorships. They held the majorities in the Senate, U.S. House. And those were all very key victories to the point where the Democrats are way behind now. Now they're going to try to dramatically catch up this year. And they're putting things like that I know Marc Cox has talked about a lot, and I have as well. Clean Missouri on the ballot. They can't win by the current rules, so they're going to change the rules. But back to my original point, it's been a great year for the American worker, not only in their opportunity and in the fact that their wages are going up. The left still thinks the wages are not going up in this country. There's many. You just Google it. There's even liberal news sources are having to report that wages are increasing in certain sectors, but also in their rights. And of course, the left thinks the only time you can talk about workers' rights is under the guise of union dominance. But how about the individual workers' thoughts and opinions themselves? So to talk about all of that and more, my good friend of mine, I've known him a very long time, interviewed him several times on this program, as I know Marc Cox has as well. Marc Mix joins us now, the president of the National Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation, also serves as the president of the National Right to Work Committee, which is a 2.8 million member-strong public policy organization. He appears everywhere. He travels the nation. He knows the 50 states. Marc, great to talk to you again. Welcome to the Marc Cox Show. Happy Labor Day.
Hey, Tim, thank you very much. It's good to reconnect with you. Thanks for your help on this issue, not only from the radio announcer's microphone, but as a legislator as well. You've been a big supporter of Right to Work, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, Marc, it's my pleasure. And you issued a statement on the occasion of Labor Day 2018. And I'm sure some of the labor bosses are, grinding their teeth today. But you said very proudly and very truly that 2018 has been a great year for workers' rights, has it not?
It has been, and the only kind of dark cloud on the horizon, unfortunately, was in Missouri. But overall, the United States Supreme Court on 27th actually issued a decision that made the entire country a right-to-work jurisdiction for all government employees in America. And I'm talking specifically about a case called Janus v. AFSCME that Right to Work Foundation attorneys litigated at the U.S. Supreme Court and won. And that case, Tim, as you know, really simple. The question is everything that government unions do political? When they're lobbying you, when you were in Jeff City, and I know they showed up in your office.
Yes,
and they
did.
Time with you because your office was open to anybody who wanted to come in and talk about making Missouri better. I know that. And so they came to talk to you, but now under the Janus decision, every single government employee, including in Missouri, are protected from being fired from their jobs for failure to tender dues or fees. That's great news for not only America, it's great news for Missouri, and it's great news for individual employee rights. As you know, Tim, it doesn't stop anyone from joining a union, doesn't stop anyone from supporting a union, doesn't stop anyone from supporting their political agenda. It just says you can't be compelled.
And Marc, isn't it true? I have this fight with liberals all the time, and they somehow think the opposite is true, although they never argue with the point on me much because I have the facts on my side. And Marc, in a lot of states that have given workers more rights, whether it's in the public sector side, we're going to see it with the Janus decision, or whether it's on the private sector side where they've become right-to-work states, many states, number one, they add jobs. But they add union jobs and union membership as well because the unions realize they have to now finally cater to the worker.
That's exactly right. And you would think that as an organized labor official, particularly in Missouri, where the union density in the right-to-work state of Alabama in the private sector is greater than that of Missouri, I mean, you'd think that you'd want more opportunities. And if right-to-work's done one thing in the states that have passed it, and 5 states have it, and it's in force over the last 6 years, it brings opportunity and jobs. And my goodness, if you're in the business of representing workers, wouldn't you want more workers to represent?
Yeah, you would think so. You would think you would want your organization to grow. Other than, the other thing, Marc, they can never fight me on is the fact that Missouri labor bosses who are so proud to say that we're still a closed union shop state, we have done nothing but lose manufacturing jobs and union workers over the last 25 years.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, I remember one time I was visiting with, I think it was Rob Richards, he was in the House at the time, and he was on the Economic Development Committee. He'd gone to Asia, talked to automobile manufacturers about locating in Missouri at the center of the American country. I mean, you guys have got infrastructure, you've got location, you've got a river, you've got all the things you need to be an economic engine in the country. And what they told him was that if you pass a right-to-work law, we'll consider Missouri as a siting facility or a siting place for one of our automobile manufacturers. But you haven't gotten the right-to-work law yet, and so I think you've suffered in that regard.
Yeah, Marc, let's talk about a tale of two states. So Kentucky and Missouri passed a right-to-work law, I believe, in the same exact year. I was actually in the State House in Kentucky in January, I guess it was of 2017, perhaps. And then, Missouri got theirs on the books as well. Now, we'll talk about Missouri in a minute. I want to talk about that battle we had this year because it's really been unfairly characterized by everybody in the media, except for this station. But so Missouri and Kentucky passed a right-to-work law around the same time. Missouri's is quickly contested, so it's never, ever allowed to go into effect. It never has gone into effect, despite what some people think. Meanwhile, Kentucky's went into effect. It was challenged. The lawsuits were thrown out. Kentucky is a right-to-work state. I think there are 28 right-to-work states, so it's a majority of the nation. Mark, I have seen innumerable stories of how great Kentucky's doing. They're having like one of their best GDP growth years ever. Multi-billions of dollars are flowing into that state. Governor Bevin has really reaped, and for Kentuckians, and Kentuckians have really reaped the rewards of becoming a right-to-work state.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Governor Bevin, he held a press conference with his economic development team at the end of May, and they said that they had broken all previous records, annual records of economic development and investment in the state. And I think by the time they finished up at the end of 2017, and you're right, Tim, the right-to-work law went into effect immediately after the legislature passed it and Governor Bevin signed it. They had over, I think, almost $10 billion of new investment in the state of Kentucky. And these are jobs that actually diversify the economy. They're not coal mining jobs. They're not traditional industry jobs for Kentucky. They are new jobs. In fact, one company, Brady Industries, was an aluminum rolling company based in Illinois. And they said that if you pass a right-to-work law, we'll come. And they broke ground on a $1.3 billion investment that's going to, I think, employ something north of a couple hundred people at $80,000 a year. Those are the types of opportunities that Missouri's missing out on. They're the types of opportunities that Kentucky and the other 26 right-to-work states have been able to capitalize on and have done so over the last several years.
Yeah, Mark, I have family in Kentucky, and I actually know Governor Bevin very well. I know a lot of the legislators over there. I get a chance to go to Kentucky quite a bit. So I see, within the space of 4 hours, I drive between the two metro areas of St. Louis and Louisville, and the difference could not be more stark. Louisville's got cranes and development and people downtown everywhere. St. Louis is becoming, an urban war zone. People are moving out, and that's because jobs and opportunity are not here. Now, we did some good work last year with lowering our taxes in Missouri. We've got a great conservative, good, right-thinking legislature, but you got to have Mark, we always say that right to work is not a silver bullet. Well, lowering taxes is not a silver bullet either. You got to have the whole cocktail, don't you, for economic growth?
Yeah, that's right. And the one thing about a right-to-work law, and it kind of, you shake your head about it. And Tim, I know you've been around the issue and around legislators and around the political process for a long time. But, the right-to-work plan is a program that doesn't cost the taxpayers 1 cent. It's not an incentive program. It's not a property tax abatement. It's simply saying that we're going to let workers unionize, but we're not going to allow union officials to have them fired if they don't pay. It's an economic development program that comes with zero cost. And the only thing that we've seen over the last 5-10 years is economic opportunity and individual freedom. Those are two good policies, and by golly, Missouri's going to have it. It's just going to take a little longer than we thought.
Yes, let's talk about that a little bit as we wrap up here. Speaking to Marc Mix, president of the National Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation and the National Right to Work Committee. Mark, we had the debate this year, and it was a kind of a coming together of a calamity of errors. We had Governor Greitens and all his scandals that brought him down. He was supposed to be the front man for right to work. There was all this money that was raised that went to legal bills and consultants and all sorts of things. So the promotion of right to work was gone. The opponents outspent the proponents by like 15-1 when all is said and done. And Mark, they ran a very smart campaign, not on the issue of right to work in my mind. They convinced everybody in the state, whether you were union or not. In Missouri, I think the union workforce is 10% or less at this point. They convinced 100% of the workers that everybody's wages would go down. That's what they ran the campaign on. Because, Mark, tell me, when the issue is about worker freedom, when that's really the issue and that's really what's on the ballot, and that's really what the campaign is about, right to work is popular across the nation.
Absolutely, and we continue to poll. We did polls just about every night. We have our own little phone bank. We did polling, and we found that the actual philosophical question of right to work never dropped below 60%. But the ballot question, and Tim, not to get into the details of it, but we had a real problem with Jay Ashcroft on the ballot question. I don't know if you recall this, but we got in and litigated on behalf of Missouri workers on the original language that was deemed grammatically incompetent by the low court. Secretary of State Ashcroft appealed that and got confusing language on the ballot. It was a comedy of errors. We anticipated, and I'm sure you and I have spoken about this, that 2018 was the year, having a cheerleader like Eric Greitens, who ran on it in the primary and the general election and won decisive victories in both places. Having him as the leader of the right to work movement, I think, would have given us a great advantage. But here we are. We've got to start over again.
Yeah, and Mark, you still got some big champions for that issue and some new champions coming into the Missouri legislature. And you got Senator Bob Onder, who's there. Governor Mike Parsons, a big fan of the prospect of worker freedom for all Missourians. He always has been. Senator Bob Onder, you got, I believe, Cindy O'Loughlin will be a new senator, and she's been huge on that issue in the private sector. Mark, I think the future for worker freedom in Missouri, with the Janus decision on the public sector side, with Senator Bob Onder's act, he's had a version of Act 10 that passed this year for public sector. I think that all of these issues will continue to move forward in favor of the individual workers' rights.
Exactly. If it were easy, it's been done by now. But you of all folks, I'm trying to herd those cats down in Texas City is not an easy job. In this case, I think we've got a legislature that understands the issue, believes in the issue, and we'll just keep trying. So.
Yeah, because, Mark, ultimately, it's all about having more freedom, prosperity, and economic growth for all of Missouri's workers and the country.
Absolutely. That's a great recipe.
Hey, Mark, thanks for joining us. Have a great Labor Day. We'll look forward to speaking with you again.
My pleasure, Tim. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was Mark Mix, and great stuff about worker freedom. We'll talk to Bob Onder about that public sector union reform that he passed this year in the 8 o'clock hour. Dave, if you can hang on, we'll get back to you after this quick break. This is Tim Jones in for Marc Cox. It's the Marc Cox Morning Show. Happy Labor Day. Talk lines are open. We're going to get to Dave when we come back, but you can give us a ring. We're here live, 314-241-9797, or toll free, of course, anytime at 866-455-9797. More ahead on the Marc Cox Morning Show. Tim Jones in the big chair.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
97.1 News Time, 7:49. It's 74 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer, and here are a few of the local stories we're following this morning. Thousands of local union members will march through downtown St. Louis for the annual Labor Day parade this morning at 9. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. The future of curbside recycling pickup around the St. Louis area is in question following the decision of a major processing center to stop accepting residential recycling. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. They take on the Nationals in D.C. today at 12:05. 97.1 News Time, 7:49. It's 74 degrees.
With services from oil change to brake repair, the team at Meineke has you covered. And right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Meineke, on with life.
Hey, it's almost time for the start of the blues season. Who wouldn't want to work with a company that is the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues? I'm talking about Window World STL. Window World STLouis.com is the website. Window World promises you the best for less, and it's true. They start with their regular white vinyl double hung window at a great price. If you need to upgrade, you can do that, and they can fit one window or they can measure for all the windows in your house. You get the added benefit of reducing your utility bill. You get a great quality product with a double strength glass, which is fantastic, a lifetime warranty that covers all of the labor, the glass breakage, all the parts that you need. That's why they are the best for less. You're getting a great deal. They'll give you a free in-home estimate to show you why, and Window World's giving you 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So if you need one window or all of them, go to Window World. It is windowworldstllouis.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omis with Better Sleep STL. Most people are unaware that breathing disorders can affect children as well as adults. Mouth breathing and the lack of proper sleep can have negative effects on a child's development, performance in school, extracurricular activities, and social relationships. Signs and symptoms in children may include snoring or heavy breathing, difficulty falling asleep at night, or staying awake during the day. ADHD-type mood behavior, recurrent ear infections, crooked teeth, and even bedwetting. The good news is there are early treatment options available to remedy pediatric sleep disorders, including permanent corrective dental treatments, allowing your child to get a better night's rest and a healthy start in their development. In addition, my office is one of just a few facilities certified in the safest, most effective treatments to naturally promote pediatric airway growth and development. For more information, please contact me today at 636-978-0226 or visit healthystartusa.com to schedule your child's complimentary evaluation.
Traffic reports at your fingertips. Real-time traffic online. Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Deck and Patio Living. Make your backyard dreams come true. Call 890-2222. The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the Radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the Radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
This hour, Making America Great, brought to you by Proctor Drapery, Blinds, Shades, and Shutters. Making your home great again. ProctorDrapery.com. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
This always makes me think of the end of summer, this song. Kind of like this song feels like fall to me, you know. Chill in the air, you know.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah. You know this, don't you?
Oh yeah, I know this song. Yeah.
I was like, now if I played this for, now Trish would know this, but if I played this for Katie Fitzpatrick,
she'd be like, what?
She'd be like, no. Although her parents, I bet, play. Well, they do. She told me they played a lot of Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So up a little Don Henley, yeah. So.
Is this from a movie, though? What movie was this from?
It probably was.
Yeah, it's been in soundtracks.
Yeah. Just drawing a blank on which one it was.
We haven't gotten into Zach's musical taste yet, have we?
He's with Mark.
He's with Cox.
Yeah,
on the Headbangers Ball.
But...
Yeah.
He tries to claim that he likes other things as well, but I think he's pretty on par with Mark.
Zach, I'm going to broaden your horizons. Okay. Dave's been hanging on a long time. Let me get to Dave here. Dave, good morning. Welcome to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Happy Labor Day.
Morning, Tim. Happy Labor Day to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You go right ahead, Dave. We got about 3 minutes for you. Go ahead.
So I got a question, something for you to ponder.
Yes, sir.
So we know that the Intel community is pretty much in the bag for, well, I shouldn't say we know. We have very strong indications that the Intel community is in the bag for the Democrats and the left and those folks, the non-traditional Washington, go along to get along type folks. So I'm wondering if it had an effect back when George Bush got the all-important they have weapons of mass destruction report, if they were setting him up back then.
Yeah, Dave, I don't think George W. Bush or any of his advisors or Dick Cheney, the vice president at the time, I don't think any of them just invented that. I mean, there's probably some nuts on the far left that believe that because they conspiracy they see a conspiracy behind every bush, just like they see a Russian behind every shrub these days. So, Dave, I think that's a great point. And one thing, I've been very critical of John McCain over the years, but you know what? He was one of those guys that was digging into that swamp a long time ago before Donald Trump invented the term. And there's always been people here and there throughout our nation's history that have said, there's a fourth rail of government. There is a deep state here, and if you think there's not, you're living with your head under a rock with your rear in the air, because there are people. Just go to D.C. and look around. There's these massive monuments to government. Things like the IRS building and the Department of this and the Department of that, and they're staffed by thousands of people who make their careers off of our taxpayer dollars. I think some of them are excellent public civil servants, but some of them are just happy they have a job, and some of them, even worse, sometimes I think work directly against the current occupant of the White House because they know they'll outlive them.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dave,
they think they're going to outlive them, but one of my hopes is that good people will start doing good things, and things will turn around. People are starting to show their true colors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody is really paying attention now that, you know.
More than ever before. You're right, Dave. You're right about that. And so, Dave, I think the biggest thing is all those folks, they got to go vote in November. This is the most critical midterm of my lifetime.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, Dave, have a great day. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Dave made some great points there. Donald Trump didn't just discover the deep state. He's been the one that's been pointing it out. It's been there for a long time. It's been left largely unfettered and unchecked. I mean, this testimony last week of Bruce Orr about his wife and the whole Steele dossier, that is the real Russian collusion of our times. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has everything to do with the Barack Obama White House and the Clinton crime cartel. Hey, Senator Bob Onder joins us next after this quick break to talk about public sector union reform in Missouri. We'll talk about all that and more upcoming elections in Missouri as well, some critical ones with Senator Bob Onder when we come back. Tim Jones in for Marc Cox. Happy Labor Day. Welcome to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Hey, Tim Jones here for my guys at Universal Windows Direct. It is time to take care of all those drafty, chipped, foggy windows and call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Their patented foam super spacer technology created by NASA creates a better seal than traditional metal spacers. Your windows will last longer and you'll save money on your energy bills. These new windows will make your home more beautiful. Every window is custom made for your home. From wood trim to premium vinyl, the added security of cam-style locks, it's like looking at a brand new home, all backed up by the true lifetime warranty. You're covered for as long as you own your home, 30 years to the next homeowner. That makes Universal Windows Direct windows the last ones you'll ever need. Stop suffering with drafty, chipped windows. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. For every window you buy, the next one's free. There's no limits to that. 0% financing for 36 months. Free installation, all backed up with the true lifetime warranty. As long as you own your home, 30 years to the next homeowner. How can you beat that? Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today, 314-878-0300. Go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live. From Berkeley to Belleville to Richmond Heights to Melville, Glendale to Shrewsbury, the Central West End. Sunset Hills to Soulard, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are two substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Marc Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Marc Cox Show.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
A radio.com station.
Here comes Gordon. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's the 7th tropical storm in the Atlantic this year. Just south of Florida now, but it'll head for the Gulf Coast later. Fox's Evan Brown tracking it live in Miami.
Yeah, Dave, Tropical Storm Gordon became official this past hour, still on a path to the northern Gulf Coast.
We'll just keep an eye out, watch the news and see, what we need to do, but definitely have some things on hand like water and make sure our cars are gassed up.
And she's in Gulf Shores, Alabama. There's a storm warning posted from there all the way to Morgan City, Louisiana. A new warning is just posted for much of the South Florida coast from just north of Miami around the peninsula all the way to Bonita Beach on the Gulf side, including the Florida Keys, Dave.
I've been gunfire late last night in San Bernardino, California. Kids are among the many who were shot. Fox's Gernal Scott has the details live.
Dave, police are saying at least 10 people were wounded, 3 of them listed as extremely critical. Authorities are told that the gunman at the scene fled. firing using high-powered weapons. The area of San Bernardino is infamous for gang activity. Police have cordoned off a large portion of the apartment complex where evidence is said to be all over a common area where many of the victims were found. Right now, no arrests have been made, Dave.
And there was also a shooting at a California horse racetrack where there was also an Ice Cube concert. A man who tried to get tickets became angry it was sold out, and the San Diego Sheriff's Department says he pulled out a gun, fired toward people. Deputies shot and killed him. The hearing starts tomorrow for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
We're going to get this good man confirmed.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Many Democrats are wary. Senator Amy Klobuchar tells NBC she wants to question Kavanaugh about this.
One of the most expansive views of presidential power that we've seen in history. This is a guy that says, one, a president should be able to declare a statute constitutional all by himself.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Every school blessing classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time, 8:03. I'm Denise Schaefer. Here's the official forecast from Fox 2's Dave Murray. Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Maybe a spun afternoon storm, high of 92. Clear tonight, low of 75. Then partly sunny, hot, humid again tomorrow with a high of 92. It's 80 degrees right now. Thousands of local union members will march through downtown St. Louis this morning for the annual Labor Day Parade. The parade begins at 13th and Olive at 9, then makes its way down Tucker, past St. Louis City Hall and west on Market to 15th Street. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. Gardner compiled a list of 28 police officers who will be excluded as witnesses in criminal cases. Hayden denounced the list as unnecessary overreach and said he never asked the Circuit Attorney's office to compile such a list, nor was there a need for one. Gardner said Hayden's command staff was aware of her concerns about the credibility of some members of the city's police force. The future of curbside recycling pickup around the St. Louis area is in question after a major processing center decided to stop accepting residential recycling. Resource Management recently told customers it will stop accepting single-stream recyclables as of October 31st. Kirkwood is the first local city to say it will suspend curbside recycling, saying it couldn't find another processor to accept its mixed recyclables. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections. Cole County Circuit Judge John Beadham issued a temporary ban because of a lawsuit over which state department has the authority to inspect captive deer. The Missouri Department of Conservation has been responsible, but part of the new law would shift that authority to the Department of Agriculture. This report brought to you by Community Mortgage, lending with extraordinary service. Call Michael Mohan at 314-336-6000 or visit communitymortgagestl.com. 97.1 News Time, 8:04. It's 80 degrees. Sports is brought to you by Mattress Direct. The Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 in 10 innings at Busch Stadium yesterday. Starter Luke Weaver allowed 3 hits and 2 runs in 4 innings. The Cardinals are now a half game behind the Brewers and sit in the second wild card spot in the National League. They start a 3-game series against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. today. Jack Flaherty gets the start. Game time is 12:05. And Missouri started the season with a 51-14 win over the University of Tennessee Martin on Saturday. They host Wyoming this Saturday night at 6. This report brought to you by RP Lumber. Best service, best value. 97.1 News Time, 8:05. It's 80 degrees.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Just a slight chance of a pop afternoon thunderstorm after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 92 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 80s this evening, 75 for the low. Tuesday, again, partly to mostly sunny skies, 92 degrees for the high on Tuesday. Again, do it on Wednesday, but a pattern shift is coming Thursday and Friday of this week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
It's 8:05 and 80 degrees, and FM News Talk 97.1 is now available on radio.com. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Hey, Rick and Tracy Ellis have a number of great properties up for sale right now, including this one out in Wildwood off of Viola Gill Lane, $439. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, great school district. Just one great example of the listings that are out there. If you go to tracyellis.com, you can see a lot more of those. Rick and Tracy have developed a fantastic business because they understand what it takes to sell homes. They know how to market them. They know how to get you a quick sale at the best price possible, which is what you're after if you're selling your home. So go to Rick and Tracy. You can listen to them here on the weekends on 97.1 with their radio shows. They've got their slick magazine that they do, the fancy magazine. They're on the internet. They're in the newspaper. They're on the radio. And they're going to help you get your house sold. Work with the best. Work with Rick and Tracy Ellis or with the Keller Williams these days. Go to their website at tracyellis.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we love September, and you will too. Join us for an exclusive event this Friday and Saturday as we celebrate falling in love with Michael M. and get 5 years, zero-interest financing. From classic solitaires to stylish 3-stone rings and hidden halos, there's something for everyone. Handcrafted for the modern woman, all Michael M. jewelry is custom-made just for you. With zero-interest financing for 5 years on any purchase and no money down, you'll fall in love all over again this Friday and Saturday with Diamonds Direct and Michael M. on approved credit.
What do you think about retirement? What does it look like for you? Do you have something in mind? It probably depends on your age. If you're in your 30s, maybe your 40s, you probably haven't given it a lot of hard thought. When you get into your 50s, it starts to look a lot more real. It's 15, 16, maybe 20 years away at that point. But when you get into your late 50s, let's say 59 or 60, that's when you want to work with the Retirement Advisory Group. Go talk to Thomas Helbig. Just have him explain what it means to have consistent income in retirement. That is knowing what's going to be in the mailbox at the beginning of the month, not having to worry about the fluctuations that can come with the stock market. Listen, the market's been great, but once you're in retirement, if your income depends on that fluctuation can make a big difference in your lifestyle. That's all this is about. It's about securing the best strategy to shift from accumulation to income and preservation of assets. It's that simple. Go talk to Thomas. 855-755-1555, 855-755-1555, or go to his website at retirementkey.com.
Hey, Tim Jones here from my guys at Universal Windows Direct. It is time to take care of all those drafty, chipped, foggy windows and call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Their patented foam super spacer technology created by NASA creates a better seal than traditional metal spacers. Your windows will last longer and you'll save money on your energy bills. These new windows will make your home more beautiful. Every window is custom made for your home. From wood trim to premium vinyl, the added security of cam-style locks, it's like looking at a brand new home, all backed up by the true lifetime warranty. You're covered for as long as you own your home, 30 years to the next homeowner. That makes Universal Windows Direct windows the last ones you'll ever need. Stop suffering with drafty, chipped windows. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. For every window you buy, the next one's free. There's no limits to that. 0% financing for 36 months, free installation, all backed up with the true lifetime warranty. As long as you own your home, 30 years to the next homeowner. How can you beat that? Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today, 314-878-0300. Go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Say, hey, now, baby. Oh, mama, don't play now,
This
baby.
is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Say, hey, now, baby. So let's get one thing straight now, baby. Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not.
I'm going to be, I'm the Democratic nominee for Congress out here, so I'm going to go to D.C. We're going to be fighting Trump.
That's crazy.
But we need your
that the kids get so excited about it.
Help to fight Trump. So this is what I need you all to do.
Are you trying to take him? I don't want that. I don't like Trump.
But in order to do something about it, this is what we need to do. When you go back home.
Me and my son.
Yeah. So when you go home.
The name of the program is Team Trivia.
Your mom, your dad, your aunt, your grandma, sister, brother, anybody who's over the age of 18 that can vote, first you need to ask your parents to vote. Because if they don't vote, then we can't kick out Trump.
Check it out.
Okay?
Because Trump start acting out.
Yo, yay! Let's go fight Trump. Woo! That was Ocasio-Cortez on the streets of the Bronx.
Of course it was.
The Bronx socialist. I mean, it's just, we're going to fight him on what? I guess is my question. What do you think about that?
She doesn't have to answer that question when she's talking to a kid, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, there's not going to be any follow-up, is there?
Right.
Yeah, these kids, I think, are a little young to quite understand the whole
Tell all your friends
deal.
that are over 18.
This is so much fun.
What?
Yeah. We're going to talk about the political cycle this year, and you can weigh in, too. I want to hear from you all this morning. We are live this morning, so give us a ring, 314-241-9797, toll-free 866-455-9797. Good morning if you're just getting up. Good morning, Denise.
Good
Zach.
morning. Good to see you.
Glad to be here with you all. You're glad I'm here, too, right? Otherwise,
Of course.
who would be talking right now behind this microphone? I'll be back tomorrow, and Denise has to stay here.
I
She
do.
has to stay
I'm
here.
staying here.
Keep her in her corner, frozen. Yes, covered in ice, with the big blower over you.
That's right.
Trish and Mark are heading to D.C. I think Mark's already there. Trish is following. They're up there for the FAIR conference on illegal immigration at the Phoenix Park Hotel. And let's bring in our next guest now here on the Marc Cox Morning Show. And that is frequent friend of the show, Senator Dr. Bob Onder. He's at Bob Onder Mo on Twitter. And he joins us now. Bob, thanks for joining us on a holiday weekend, and happy Labor Day to you, my friend.
Good morning, Tim. Happy Labor Day to you.
So, Bob, we had on another colleague of ours, another friend of ours. Mark Mix joined me in the 7 o'clock hour. We talked quite a bit about right to work across the nation, workers' rights, and how even though we had a setback here in the state of Missouri, 2018 was a great year for worker freedom. And you, Senator Onder, along with the, I believe, the able assistance of Representative John Wieman in the House and all of your colleagues who voted for the bill, you passed a significant piece of legislation for public sector union worker rights.
That's absolutely right, Tim. Yeah, Tim, we passed this session, and of course the governor signed the Government Worker Protection Act, a law to enact comprehensive government union reform, which had a number of pro-worker, pro-taxpayer provisions, including workplace democracy, paycheck protection, financial accountability, and greater transparency throughout the collective bargaining process. We were happy to get that done, but the battle's not over because a handful of politically motivated self-interest unions are suing. Nothing, as you know, as a lawyer, nothing keeps anyone from filing a frivolous lawsuit in our court system. They are filing a lawsuit to protect their prerogatives, their money from these common sense reforms.
Yeah, one of the biggest components of your bill was basically giving workers public sector employees, workers, state workers, folks in the public sector, people who are paid entirely by taxpayer dollars, to have the right to keep more of their wages if they want versus putting it into the political campaign coffers of union bosses. And they largely spend that money, 99% or more, on liberal causes. And there's a lot of public sector employees who probably aren't liberals. And so, Bob, why, this is maybe a question that answers itself, why in the world would the union bosses file suit against such a bill that provides worker freedom?
Well, of course, the answer does speak for itself. They want their power, their prerogatives, and they want ready access to their workers' paychecks, their members' paychecks. And, of course, in forced union states, they want access to non-members' paychecks as well. And so that's why part of the bill was paycheck protection, that workers should not have money withheld from their paycheck, especially for politics, without annual consent. And also workplace democracy, regular recertification elections, because, you sometimes hear unions complain about, quote, freeloaders. Well, what about the unions freeloading on the employees who don't want their representation? So regularly, employees ought to have a right to vote whether or not they want to be represented in that workplace by the union at all. I think that just makes common sense. The only ones who oppose it are the union bosses who want their power, and they want the massive amount of money that comes from forced unionization.
So, Bob, I heard that this lawsuit was filed in a very cynical fashion as well. It wasn't filed at the seat of government in Jefferson City, where where the law was passed. It was apparently filed in the most pro-plaintiff jurisdiction in the state, here in the city of St. Louis, and it had a bunch of strange defendants added to it as well. Could you explain how this lawsuit is developing?
Well, now we have two lawsuits. One was in St. Louis County, Missouri, and another is in Jackson County, Missouri. Yeah, as you know, Tim, from many years in state government, when lawsuits are filed challenging the constitutionality of laws, because that's what the unions are doing, they want the Government Worker Protection Act to be struck down in its entirety. Those lawsuits are filed in Jefferson City in Cole County at the seat of government, because the logical defendants in these lawsuits are the various departments and department heads. But no, they engaged in what is sometimes known as forum shopping, basically choosing their venue where they're most likely to get a left-wing judge who's going to decide the case in their favor. So yes, it was cynical. They added, as plaintiffs, or rather as defendants, they added, I believe, the Afton School District and St. Louis Community College in St. Louis County. And, they're doing this to try to find a liberal activist judge who's going to undo the law of the state as enacted by the elected representatives of the people. This is such a despicable tactic of the left. When they can't win through the political process, they go look for the most liberal judge they can to do their will by judicial means. It's wrong, and we need to fight it until the Government Worker Protection Act is upheld by our courts.
Yeah, Bob, it's been a real paradoxical year, hasn't it, for workers' rights? I mean, on one hand, 2016, if we go back to the election of 2016, if we go back 2 years, everybody from the governor on down who ran for office was very clear on the Republican side of the ticket that if elected, they were going to do things like pass private sector right to work, pass public sector paycheck protection, do prevailing wage reform. Everybody was very clear, from the governor on down. This was a very public argument on this issue, right? And guess what? All of you got elected, right? And so
yes, we did.
You promises made, promises kept. So the unions then do this dog and pony show repeal, telling everybody in the state, whether they're a union or not, that their wages are going to go down to repeal right to work. But the public sector union reform goes through, so they lose on that. The media is not talking about their huge loss on that as well. And like you said, now they go to the courts. So, Bob, what is the future of worker freedom in Missouri? You have states like Kentucky that are full speed ahead and are crushing it on job creation and billions of dollars of new economic prosperity. Our union bosses apparently want less jobs and less manufacturing here in the Show Me State.
Well, you're right about that, Tim. Kentucky passed right to work just a couple of weeks before we did in Missouri. And unlike in Missouri, right to work went into effect in Kentucky in 2017. And already Kentucky has had a record year for economic growth, $9.3 billion with a B in new investment, including 3 separate billion-dollar-plus projects, an Amazon hub, a Toyota expansion, and a Brady Industries plant. And the Brady Industries CEO said that without right to work, Kentucky would not have been on that list. So tens of thousands of new jobs created in Kentucky. And what are the government bosses, the union bosses working on in Missouri? Spending $20 million to lie to their members, to lie to Missourians, to defeat worker freedom. That, of course, is the bad news, that we lost in the polls on August 7th on the freedom to work issue. But the good news is that in the government union sphere, we created pro-worker, pro-taxpayer, pro-transparency protections in the Government Worker Protection Act, and I am confident as we go ahead in these upcoming months that we're going to uphold those provisions and give at least government union workers more freedom in our state.
Bob, let's talk for a minute. We'll shift to politics here. Some really good signs in Missouri in our primary elections, right? I mean, a lot of the what you and I would call true conservatives came out of the primaries, whether it was in some critical Senate races that I know you're watching very closely, or in some very important House races as well. So, talk about the stock of candidate recruitment and how the Missouri GOP did in the primary season.
Well, you're right, Tim. We really had some great constitutional conservatives elected in various primaries around the state. Certainly down in Springfield, our good friend Eric Burleson, who's been a great leader in worker freedom in his years in the Missouri House. Up in Northeast Missouri, Cindy O'Loughlin, who's a great believer in worker freedom and education reform, giving our kids an access to an excellent education. Up in Northwest Missouri, Tony Lutkemeyer, Blaine's nephew, I believe, is a great constitutional conservative, a lawyer. I look forward to not being the only person with a law degree on the Republican side of the aisle in the Missouri Senate. We just have some really Justin Brown, the son of our good friend Doc Brown, who's retiring from the Missouri Senate after a long career in public service. We really have some great people elected, or at least chosen in our primaries, who I believe will come across the line in November. I really look forward to getting good things accomplished for the people of Missouri.
A lot of reform-minded individuals that will be entering the ranks and taking up the battle with you, Bob. And we'll talk about that in the months ahead. I know the legislative session will begin again quicker than we know it. So, Bob, thanks for joining us.
It'll be there sooner than we think.
Yep, we got to run to a break, but it's great having you on Labor Day. You can follow Bob at Bob Ondermo on Twitter. Bob, have a great Labor Day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Happy Labor Day, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. That was Senator Bob Onder. This is Tim Jones in for Marc Cox. It's the Marc Cox Morning Show. Got Tom Ackerman and more straight ahead, so keep it right here.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
97.1 News Time, 8:23. It's 80 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer, and here are a few of the local stories we're following this morning. Thousands of local union members will march through downtown St. Louis for the annual Labor Day parade this morning at 9. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. A Missouri judge is blocking parts of a new state law on meat inspections because of a lawsuit. In sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. They take on the Nationals in D.C. today at 12:05. This report brought to you by Mattress Direct. 97.1 News Time, 8:23. It's 80 degrees.
With services from oil change to brake repair, the team at Meineke has you covered. And right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Meineke, on with life.
Had storms sweep through here recently. I had a tree limb blown down as a result of that. Fell on a neighbor's fence. We had to get out there. Fortunately, it was small enough that it was something I could go take care of myself. That's not always the case. I've had entire trees fall over. The individual has a hard time dealing with that. That's where Hanson's Tree comes in. These are the experts. Call them out there. They can get it cleaned up in a hurry, professionally, nothing left behind. They can take up stumps. They can do the whole thing. If you have a yard full of trees and you've never had an arborist look at them, that's where else you can depend on Hanson's expertise. They will send someone who knows what they're doing to tell you that tree needs to be pruned, that limb needs to come down, this tree is diseased. These are things you need to understand so you don't end up with a tree through the middle of your house one night during a bad storm. Always free risk assessments and free estimates. Go to their website to request one. It is hansonstree.com.
This is the Long-Term Care Minute. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, of the 16 million veterans who served during World War II, less than 558,000 are still alive. To make things worse, many of them now need long-term care. With the average cost of nursing home care approaching $7,000 monthly, we wondered, what should veterans do? For some advice on this, we called on long-term care expert and best-selling author Don Quante. So Don, what should our veterans do?
Well, quite simply, we recommend our veterans get a free copy of my book, Tax-Free Money for Long-Term Care, where they will learn about a little-known veterans benefit that may allow them to receive up to $26,000 a year tax-free to pay for long-term care. Give me a call right now. The next 30 listeners will get a free copy of my book.
That sounds great, Don. Just call 800-256-1607. That's 800-256-1607. This has been the Long-Term Care Minute.
Honey, it's time. We can't put it off another year. If you've heard this from your spouse lately, then you've probably spent some time outside lamenting the condition of your home. Unattractive siding, old drafty windows. If you can't stand another season with these, call Banner Construction today. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor, which means we have the expertise to properly install top quality James Hardie fiber cement siding on any home. When you hire Banner, you're not just purchasing products. You're investing in 25 years of home improvement expertise with a company that cares about the final result. Banner also installs James Hardie's Beechworth windows. Beechworth windows are beautiful wood windows with maintenance-free exteriors. Compare to Marvin, Pella, or Renewal by Anderson, and you'll see that Beechworth has the best features from each brand, all in one incredible window. Don't put it off another day. Call Banner Construction at 314-569-1050. And have a banner day. Call 314-569-1050.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Marc Cox. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
A reading from the Gospel according to St. John, chapter 15, verses 12 through 13. Jesus said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." The word of the Lord.
Yeah, I've been tough on Lindsey Graham, but I thought he did a great job this weekend, not only at the ceremony, but on Fox News Sunday yesterday morning. He's tried to be the bridge between the Trump haters and the Trump supporters.
Sure.
And he's really, I think, done a really nice job in bridging that gap.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that more and lots more ahead, because I'm up against a hard break here. And so Zach's going to cut me off no matter what I do. Hey, we've got Tom Ackerman going to join us after the break here. So keep it right here. We'll talk about a little weekend sports roundup. A lot happening in the sporting world, on the golf scene. They're having the FedEx Cup playoffs. We had the Cardinals lost their first series in like forever.
Yes,
which was remarkable.
It had to
run.
come to an end eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Hopefully
now.
they just get it back now.
That's right. And one of Denise's favorite seasons, blues season,
That's right.
is right around the corner. All that and more on the Marc Cox Morning Show. We got Tom Ackerman up next. Keep it right here on FM News Talk 97.1. Tim Jones in the big chair for Marc Cox, who's off to the swamp, putting on his swamp boots up there in D.C.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Just a slight chance of a pop afternoon thunderstorm after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 92 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 80s this evening, 75 for the low. Tuesday, again, partly to mostly sunny skies, 92 degrees for the high on Tuesday. Again, do it on Wednesday, but a pattern shift is coming Thursday and Friday of this week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
I'm Jennifer Kushinka with your Money Now.
For many students, repaying college loans is an uphill battle that continues to steepen. But there are ways for you to pay down your debt ahead of schedule and achieve significant savings. Experts say you should borrow only what you need, choose your repayment plan carefully, make payments while you're in school if you're able, and make extra payments when you can. Enroll in automatic debit. When you think of a green building, you probably think of one that's energy efficient, but increasingly, buildings are becoming increasingly green as cities and companies embrace biophilic design, the concept of surrounding buildings with nature. Planted terraces that wrap around buildings and indoor ponds and waterfalls are key elements of biophilic design. Not only do biophilic designs result in significant energy savings, research indicates employees in such buildings not only feel better about their workplaces, but perform better too. The stock market is closed for the Labor Day holiday, and that's your money now.
Stocks are soaring, and construction spending across America has been on the rise. If you've been waiting to build, the time is now. Whether you want to expand your business or you want to build a new garage, call General Steel today. Our metal buildings are custom designed for your needs. For example, a 40 by 60 is a great space for an auto shop or 3-car garage. And if you call General Steel today, it's on sale now for under $25,000. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-957-8335.
Dr. Bob Arnott for Salonpas.
I'm training for the world's most grueling paddleboard race. 32 miles of open ocean, high winds and surf. Naturally, I get a lot of muscle pain. 50 years in medicine has taught me what to look for in a pain reliever. Powerful, targeted, non-addictive, and available without a prescription. I found it in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. It has 2 powerful anesthetics that numb nerves right where it hurts. Salonpas gives me relief.
Your Money Matters, brought to you by Fisher Window and Door Store, your dealer for Marvin Windows and Doors in the St. Louis region. FisherWindow.com.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Missouri Healthcare Hotline, can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling about my health insurance.
Well, that's what we're here for, ma'am.
Well, I've got type 1 diabetes. If I had to change insurance policies, I'd be really worried.
Yes, that's true of you and 2.5 million other Missourians with pre-existing conditions.
Then what's this I've heard about Missouri's Attorney General, Josh Hawley?
Well, Josh Hawley just filed a lawsuit to allow insurance companies to deny coverage to those with pre-existing conditions.
Why would he do that?
Well, I'm not a mind reader, but it's a fact that the insurance industry could benefit by Hawley's action.
Sounds like if Josh Hawley wins his lawsuit, people like me will lose. Is there anything we can do?
Well, yes, you can call Josh Hawley's office at 573-751-3321 and tell him to drop his lawsuit right now.
Well, thank you.
Have a nice day. Paid for by Majority Forward.
Don't let the other window companies take advantage of you with their so-called deals. Hi, I'm Steve Wilkie with Wilkie Window and Door, where you get the best pricing on Anderson replacement windows right from the start. No games or tricks, and I promise we won't camp out at your kitchen table until you sign. Call Wilkie Window and Door for a free estimate on high-quality Anderson replacement windows. Visit our Anderson showrooms in Fenton and Shiloh or go to wilkiewindow.com. You'll be glad you did. That's wilkiewindow.com.
Marc Cox. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
School's out and the night's rolling, man. Just like the long lost friend you ain't seen in a while. You can't help but smile. And it's 2 bare feet on the dashboard.
Playing some summer tunes to
I like it.
wrap up some Kenny Chesney.
See, only with you can I get some country music, Tim. If Mark were here, it would be banned. So thanks for a little
I
Kenny.
think most of the songs we've played today
would have been banned.
Yes.
Come on, Zach, Southern Illinois. You guys like country over there, don't you?
No, I do. And in fact, I've been enjoying a lot of the music we've been playing today.
Oh, good.
It just,
we'll bring him to the dark side.
Cox.
We will bring him over.
Yeah.
Marc Cox doesn't know about the coup that's being thwarted right now.
I think the rule should be one country song a morning.
Yeah, we could do one.
I think one's all right.
Yeah, well, maybe two.
Maybe we can convert Mark as well.
Yeah, I bet Mark might like. I don't know. Does he not like country at all?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on him. I love the mornings. I love the mornings when I'm listening, and he's like,
What is that?
What is this? Yeah, and I'm like, I know exactly what that is.
And we're like, that's group love. He's like, what?
Group love.
What is that?
That should be banned. Yeah, is that legal? We love our Marc Cox. He's up in the swamp, I think, already. He's already
there. I think he's done at least one Facebook Live. So
oh, cool. So
he's,
check
getting around
that
town.
out. Yeah, check out the Marc Cox Facebook page, and he's at Marc Cox 971 on Twitter. At Marc Cox 971 on Twitter. I'm at Speaker Tim Jones on Twitter and Facebook. Great to be here. I will be back tomorrow morning. And excuse me, we got some great guests lined up for you, and I'll get to that in our last segment. But without further ado, let's bring in our next guest. That is the one and only Tom Ackerman.
The great sports mind like Tom Ackerman.
Baseball's really not a hard sport.
Tom Ackerman, thank you for that insight.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
It's like powered by coffee this morning.
Hey, Tom Ackerman, we're powered by coffee on this Labor Day holiday, that's for sure. But we're getting through the morning. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
I'm still powered by coffee, even though I'm not in the office today. Yeah, I'm sitting outside. I got the dog here.
Aww.
And our yellow lab is trying to get me to play with the soccer ball, and I've got a cup of coffee.
Very nice.
I've got my Post-Dispatch sports page because I'm still old school. I still go out on the driveway and pick this thing up that's called a newspaper, and then I unwrap it, and I get a little ink on my fingers, and I read. Life is good.
Yeah, Tom, it was great speaking with you last week off microphone. The first time I'd ever had a long conversation with you at our little Intercom St. Louis happy hour. We got to meet everybody from all the different stations and all the sales folks, and you and I were both still aglow about the PGA Championship, and you had some great stories about following Tiger around. And what I want to talk to you about, Tom, and we'll get to all the news of the weekend with Sporting World, but what about St. Louis as being a venue for, a PGA event, an annual event? Is that a possibility? Are people talking about that?
Yeah, I think people are talking about it, and absolutely it's exciting to think about. And I think that we absolutely could handle one. But there are a lot of questions that would need to be answered. One is Belle Reve, or another club for that matter, but is Belle Reve willing to do an annual event?
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it's a major undertaking just to do one. If you do one every year, you have to have a commitment from a club. Then the second thing would be you need to have the money put up by a pretty big company.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the corporate support and specifically TV money to pay for what's going to be a pretty hefty price tag. And then the third thing I think would be that the PGA Tour is willing to add your city. I think number 3, I think they would be willing to do if numbers 1 and 2 were to come through. You'd have to have a change somewhere along the line to fit St. Louis in there.
Yes.
But it would be terrific. It really would. I think more realistic in the time being would be to have another big event come here. So a major championship, you only have 2 options. Masters isn't going anywhere, and you can't have the Open. So it's either the U.S. Open or the PGA again, and the PGA is not going to be up again until, I don't believe, 2030.
Wow.
So 12 years away. So in between then, can you get a Ryder Cup on the schedule somewhere down the line? It's hard. So there's a lot of stuff still booked between now and then. The one thing I suggested was, I keep seeing that Tiger Woods, how much he loves us and how much he wants to come back and play. And I see he's starting these exhibitions now with Phil Mickelson and who knows what else. Why not throw one big party here?
Well, yeah, and he's got a little golf course going up in southern Missouri. So, why not? Why not?
So, why not bring it to the state of Missouri and surrounding area and Midwest and have some fun? But I do think that we are going to have something and the buzz was just too big for people not to act on that. So I'm sure the brilliant marketing minds have gotten together as to how that could happen.
Yeah. Well, Tom, let's roll through the weekend recap of the sporting world. It was a very busy weekend, and as we knew, all good things would have to come to an end eventually. The Cardinals finally had they didn't get swept. They had a win there on Friday night, I believe, but they lost that series to the Reds. So what happened there this weekend? Why was the mojo off a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the game yesterday, first of all, and it was very difficult, I think, to go from the high of the Cardinals are going to win this game, win the series, because it's a tie game. Harrison Bader had just beaten out an infield hit that scored a run that made everything very exciting, and he did it again. And then in the ninth inning, the Cardinals are able to get the bases loaded with nobody out in a 3-3 game, and the Cardinals players are up on the top step and they're pounding on the railing along with the crowd that's clapping along. I mean, everybody's pumped up. They know it's going to happen. The one run is going to cross. Cardinals are going to win their 11th series, and they'll be off to Washington. And what happened was 3 really poor at-bats by Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, and Paul DeJong, 3, 4, 5 hitters in the order that you would expect to make something happen. They didn't. And the kind of predictable thing happened is that in the 10th inning, the Reds' 3, 4, 5 hitters who can really mash did that very thing. And they were able to take control of the game, and the Reds won it 6-4, even though the Cardinals actually did have a chance at the very end in the 10th they were able to get a run across, and then they ended up having Matt Carpenter at the plate as the tying run. But they had already given that game up in the ninth when they couldn't score a run, and that was a tough thing. But they were able to capture one victory in the series, and it's not the end of the world. And they are still in the hunt in the National League wild card, although they gave up the top spot now. But they're right there in the Central. They're tied with the Brewers. They're 5.5 behind the Cubs, which is going to take a lot of work. But you're going to have to just get into this tournament now and make something happen. And it's, they have 25 games to go to make it happen.
A big month of baseball ahead. So Mizzou took care of business this weekend, right?
Mizzou took care of business. They blasted Tennessee Martin. Now, I'd like to see a better opponent early in the year, but it's a good warm-up for them. Now they're going to get tested a little bit. Wyoming, they'll play at home. And the game at Purdue, I think, could be an incredible show. Purdue lost its opener to Northwestern, but they have a wide receiver named Rondale Moore, who might be the most exciting player in college football out of week 1. And so Mizzou, which has some excitement at wide receiver, running back, quarterback, that they can make it happen offensively, will have to put up some points, a lot of points, to beat Purdue, I think. And that'll be a huge game for them in week 3. And then week 4 is Georgia and Columbia. If you could be 3-0 by the time Georgia comes in, I think you're talking about one of the more raucous crowds they've had at Faurot Field in a long time. But until then, you got to show your fan base that you're ready to take on the big boys. And so far, Tennessee Martin, they were able to do some things offensively, but they haven't shown really what they can do until they play a major opponent.
Gotcha. And Tom, finally, it's we've turned the calendar. It's September, which means Blues preseason right around the corner. Denise is happy about that.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. And the Blues it's not going to be long, and they start getting things going here. Their preseason opener is September 18th against Dallas. That's just about 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, Tom, how are the Blues? How are they shaping up? What are you seeing?
Well, I think they're going to be very strong up the middle. Which is incredibly important. They've got a great group of forwards, especially all those centers. Up the middle, they have to be strong. I think it'll all come down to goaltending again for them and how good Jake Allen is. But I know that this team's going to score. I know this team will be able to, at times, lock down the opponent's top line. They're going to be exciting. Enterprise Center is renovated and should be done here in the next week or so, this next stage. So that's exciting to kind of go to a new building with a fresh feel. I think this Blues team, and I know they've teased us through the years, and I know that we say this all the time, it seems, but I think this Blues team is going to be really good. I think they'll absolutely be a contender, and then we'll just see what happens.
Keep hope alive. That's right. Well, hey, Tom Ackerman, that was excellent. That was great. Thanks for joining us on a Labor Day weekend with your coffee and pooch in hand. there. So the Ackerman home.
Quinn just found this toy that we've been looking for too. It came up to me.
It's amazing what dogs can come up with, isn't it?
Yeah, he found his rope toy. It's incredible. Where'd you find this, bud? Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Well, you get to enjoy a little peace and quiet, just you and the dog this morning, huh?
Yeah. Well, the girls are
till everybody gets up
in the other room. They're a little preoccupied right now with TV, but I think we're about to make some breakfast and
awesome.
have a nice Labor Day.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the holiday, Tom, and Mark will be back next week, so we'll talk to you again then.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Take care. That was Tom Ackerman with sports. He's Ackerman 1120. If you could follow him on Twitter, and such insight there. That Denise and I can't give you. So.
Nope, he's definitely got more of the insight on that. I'm just a fan.
Does a fine job. Well, hey, we'll take your phone calls and wrap things up. 314-241-9797, 866-455-9797 on this very happy Labor Day. We're laboring on Labor Day, and we're happy to do so, bringing you some live and local radio here in St. Louis or wherever you're listening around the globe on our radio.com app, of course. Tim Jones in for Marc Cox here at FM News Talk 97.1.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
97.1 News Time, 8:46. It's 80 degrees. I'm Denise Schaefer, and here are a few of the local stories we're following this morning. In this report brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms. Thousands of local union members will march through downtown St. Louis for the annual Labor Day parade this morning. Starts at 9. St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden denies knowing about Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's exclusion list. And in sports, the Cardinals lost to the Reds 6-4 yesterday. 97.1 News Time, 8:47.
Need new brakes? CarX Tire and Auto has lifetime guaranteed brake pads on sale now for half price. That's right, 50% off quality brake pads at CarX, where your brake inspection is always free.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. It truly is free to get your credit score from Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Retirement, wondering if you can afford to retire? Are you worried that you won't have enough income in retirement to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you also wondering how the stock market will affect your current retirement plans? This is Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'd like to show you the kind of income your retirement accounts can provide, whether you're retiring now or even in the next 5 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation financial review. We'll build your own personalized structured income plan that will show you exactly the type of retirement you can count on. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees achieve a worry-free retirement for 31 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or visit us online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
I hear the drums echoing tonight.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards.
Well, it was a quick morning.
Yeah,
here
by
on
fast.
Labor Day. Yeah, welcome to your Labor Day. If you're just getting up, a lot of you all may have slept in, or you're like Tom Ackerman, you're out in the backyard with your coffee and your pooch, your dog, finding things you've lost a long time ago.
Sounds like a good morning.
Retrievers are like that. You know, I had labs all growing up, and they're great dogs. My dad's a veterinarian, and he always said he loves labs. So
Yeah.
that says something. Yeah, they're just good dogs. Lots of hair, but they're great dogs. So, I hope you have a great Labor Day. It's going to be a little warm again today, but Denise, I was looking at that long-range forecast. Looks like we're going to get a break near the end of the week.
That sounds good to me. I'm ready for some actual fall weather.
I don't ever remember.
Ironic coming from the woman who's always freezing in the studio. I know.
Well, it's been more than they always say this about Missouri, more than the heat, it's been the humidity this summer.
Yeah.
This humidity has been heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Zach, any big plans today, or are you just going to hightail it back to Bethalto and bunker down?
No, yeah.
That depends if we can get out of the building.
Yes. But
it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
No huge plans today. I did a barbecue yesterday.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, nothing in the plans today. So maybe just be like Tom, go home and relax.
Kick back, and we'll hit the pool one last time because, as Denise's family know, they're shutting down the pools tomorrow, and everything gets cleaned up.
That's right.
So
time to close it down.
Yep. Everybody will have a busy month, battening down the hatches and all that, and pretty soon we'll be complaining about how cold it is and how miserable we are.
Because it's supposed to be a really cold, snowy winter.
No, so you've heard that too.
The Farmer's Almanac, right, is predicting a very cold and snowy winter.
Yes. So tomorrow I'll be back out of the gates. We'll be back to the normal workday weekday for
5 a.m.
Tuesday.
start.
5 a.m. start. We got a huge lineup of guests, including Josh Hawley.
Oh, great.
And Eric Trump.
Oh, wow.
So
great.
that's a big bonus.
Very big.
And it's a big week because nationally we're going to be talking about the Kavanaugh hearings. We'll see what shenanigans the liberals pull up on what dog and pony shows they pull to try and disparage what is an eminently qualified judge in my mind, and a lot of people's mind. A lot of people who are much smarter than me with Supreme Court lore. But we'll talk to Eric Trump and Josh Hawley, who has argued before the Supreme Court. We'll talk to him as well and about how his race is going against Left Coast Claire tomorrow. So let's see. I got a couple calls here I think I can take before we wrap up here. We'll talk to Charles real fast here. Charles, good morning. Welcome to the Marc Cox Show.
Hey, good morning, Senator. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good.
It's Labor Day. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Hey, now, I've had a couple conversations with you before. I think Mr. Anderer's got it wrong. The reason that referendum came about was because the politicians don't want what the citizens want, and they vote against the citizens many times. You certainly know with your experience the polling that went on, and the legislature knows that the citizens of Missouri didn't want right to work.
Well, they didn't want their wages to be lowered, and that's what the argument was about, Charles. It wasn't a true referendum on right to work, because I'll push back on you on that. I've seen the polling, and on right to work, Charles, it's 60% in favor when you ask the question that way. The unions did a great job running a fraudulent campaign. I'll give you that.
Well, yeah, and I'm not trying to rub nothing in, but you probably didn't see this, or maybe you did, but in 2016, according to the Labor Department, Missouri created more jobs than the 6 surrounding right-to-work states and Illinois. So when you talk about Kentucky, and I'm not, this is not a trick question. You know me. This is not a trick question. Was Kentucky legislature, or did the people vote for right to work?
The legislature passed it. And Charles, you can pull 1 year out. I will tell you that over the last 10 years, Indiana has added 100,000 jobs, many of them union, as a right-to-work state. And Missouri, Charles, over the last 10 years has lost 25,000 union jobs. So, Charles, how much more jobs do you want to flow out of closed union shop Missouri? It's a bad economic model.
For one thing, I don't believe your polling.
Okay, it's not polling, Charles. It's called facts. It's absolute facts. And Charles, here's something else. Kentucky went right to work. They added $9 billion in growth this year. They're crushing us, Charles. Absolutely.
I bet if it was up to the people, they wouldn't be doing it. And then when you say jobs, if you're making, like here, the legislature turned the voters back in St. Louis, wanted to raise the minimum wage. And if you look at $750, that's only $15,000 a year. I mean,
those are entry level jobs, Charles. They're not supposed to be jobs for life.
Level. Hey, please Senator, that's not an entry-level job. There's plenty of people working those kind of jobs.
Hey, Charles, how about the fact that there's more jobs available in this country right now than we have workers? Thank you, Donald Trump.
Okay, well, I don't thank Donald Trump. I'll tell you what I think.
Of course you don't, Charles. You're never going to thank Donald Trump for anything. The guy could cure cancer, and you wouldn't thank him.
If I could answer you, then you could make a decision if I'm out in left field.
Okay, hurry up, Charles. I've given you a lot of time, and I got other callers waiting on. Come on, hurry up.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Charles, we're just never going to agree on anything about labor unions. Gas buddy Steve. Steve, real quick, my friend, you got 2 minutes.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Go right ahead.
Hey, I think it was Friday or Saturday, one or the other. There was a lady out doing polling, I guess, or, doing walking the streets. Turned to my dog, and I said, she's out here doing for Claire McCaskill. So I went and I threw on a shirt to walk out to see what she was passing out or whatever. Sure enough, I come in and told my dog I was right. I could tell she was for Claire McCaskill because of her haircut, believe it or not.
Uh-oh.
She got the Hillary cut and everything, so, it was a giveaway. She's an elderly lady, so God bless her.
All right. She's out there doing her First Amendment rights. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, she's telling me about Josh Hawley and about this lawsuit he did and everything. And so I informed her that Claire McCaskill is why we have Obamacare.
That's true.
And she thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And
of course she did.
About it a little bit. So she says, you're on the right, aren't you? I said, if the right is in reality, I'm happy.
That's where you are. Hey, Gas Buddy Steve, I got to run, my friend. Hey, you have a great Labor Day. Yeah, so, Claire McCaskill's working hard. She's not going to go down without a big fight, let me tell you. And that's why I keep telling everybody, this is a critical election. You got to go vote. Hey, Charles, you're probably still listening, my friend. I had to go. I had to get to Steve and then get out. But Charles and I just are not going to agree on labor reform.
I don't think so.
And I love you, Charles. I love that you'll listen to the show, but we're just not going to agree on that, my friend. But we'll keep having the debate, and I may get him over to the new economic model of worker freedom at least sometime in the near future. Hey, we've got Eric Trump and Josh Hawley and so much more ahead. It's going to be a jam-packed, awesome Tuesday. Happy Labor Day to you all. Denise, Zach, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Trish, thanks for manning the phones. We'll see you all tomorrow. And keep it right here. We got Kilmeade coming up next.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Chesterfield to Crestwood, Frontenac to Ferguson, Limerick to Ladue, Town and Country and more. Warson Woods to Winsville, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are two substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
At Diamonds Direct, we love September, and you will too. Join us for an exclusive event this Friday and Saturday as we celebrate falling in love with Michael M. and get 5 years zero-interest financing. From classic solitaires to stylish three-stone rings and hidden halos, there's something for everyone. Handcrafted for the modern woman, all Michael M. jewelry is custom-made just for you. With zero-interest financing for 5 years on any purchase and no money down, you'll fall in love all over again this Friday and Saturday with Diamonds Direct and Michael M. on approved credit.
Dear beloved home, you've always been there for us. From our kids playing in the bathtub when they were little, to teaching our son how to shave for the very first time. But now we have 3 teenagers, and it's created